Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome back to Final Fantasy Chronicles of Eno. I am your host and game master, Skajarmas, otherwise known as Tone Shift, and with me today we have our full cast of players. We have Tom117Z playing Rosa, our female Elvan Mithra Watcher.
Hey kids, you ready for depression?
Aye, aye, Rosa. We have Mystic playing Aeon, our male Moogle Time Mage.
No depression, Kupo!
All the depression, Kupo.
Support Moogle.
We have Hades Shadow 92 playing Cassandra, our female human dragoon. I don't know why I'm just spawning an accent as I do this.
Let's have it, probably.
Probably.
Also, hi.
Hi. We have Darkness playing Kunara, our female Lupin warrior.
Hello.
By eardrums. And last but certainly not least, we have Ari playing Kayana, our female Tarufel engineer.
Time for depression.
Yep, we know, we've been playing this campaign long enough. We know what we're about at this point.
Session 18, let's do
This
this.
entire
Welcome
group
to the
is full of
Depression Club. How can we
Session
help
3
today?
onwards.
Session 3 onwards, it went from, like, super lighthearted and cheerful to, oh my god, oh no!
We are all dead inside.
You see, we're a therapist's greatest dream and worst nightmare all in one.
I don't know about greatest dream.
We're a gold mine.
Money.
You think?
Only
We're
if...
a gold mine and we're also a nightmare at the same time.
So why haven't we paid Kai?
That's a good question.
Because none of you have any money.
Because we spend all our money on armor, weapons, and things that go boom boom.
peanuts.
We got a
Yeah,
new
broke.
gun.
Anyway. So, where last we left off, our intrepid band of adventurers known as the Freebirds finally closed out their first major mission that they had undertaken as an adventuring party, bringing home a lost woman who had been caught up in the machinations of a slave trade ring, and brought her back home to her home city of, I believe we call it's Tenori? Tenori, yes. I slept like shit. My brain is not firing on all cylinders today. Blame the heat of summer.
Fine.
But
John
anyways,
Sorry,
needs
the
coffee,
capital-
Kupo.
John needs coffee.
I thought you were God.
I have tea. Anyway, so, and after delivering delivering this individual back to their home, they were paid for their efforts and spent some time squaring away a few other more technical matters, acquiring new weapons, acquiring new gear. In the midst of it all, a surprise visit was paid to one member of the group in the form of Pippin Tarupin, the vice marshal of one of the numerous circles in service to the Lapinian Council, and a good friend of Kayana, apparently serving as the bodyguard to her and the rest of her family, who are, and her father being a member of said ruling council of the country. It was a surprise reunion, and due to a handful of little slips of the tongue and just a crap ton of people not realizing to mind their own fucking business, Kayana got absolutely harassed by everyone else in the party into spilling her opinions and affections for Pippin, as apparently it turns out she's had like a minor crush on him for a while. And because of this pestering and insistence from everyone else, it was eventually decided to take the plunge and address this long-standing crush. And it did not go well. When the party...
We just wanted her to be happy.
Oh, we fucked that up.
Yeah, anyway. Making your way to the Omu estate in the city, you got to speak with Pippin, where the revelation of Kayana's affections were laid bare, and given these circumstances, Pippin was thrown horribly off balance, and his rejection of those affections was not as gentle as it could have been. Feeling upset and perhaps a little insulted and slighted, the party gathered their shit and set out from Tenori, grumpy, dismayed, and generally put out by recent events, and continuing mental health declines across the board, because that's just what this campaign is, I guess.
Yep.
If the last one was an odyssey about gods and heroes, this one is a personal story about everyone is sad. This is a mental health story is what this is turning into, and I'm here for it.
You think?
Yeah. But regardless, you continued on your way, venturing north with the intended goal of reaching the Academy City of Anomo, figuring that there you might be able to get some genuine answers and information in regards to numerous pressing questions you have for various members of the group. The history of Rosa's family and this enigmatic individual you've found references of named Forgal, trying to find insights into the strange dreams Kunara had not long after she encountered all of you, and any clues that might be had about this shadow that was sighted lurking behind Aeon one time. But you still have quite a ways to go before you arrive at your destination, and so it is on the road to said destination in the morning after a couple days of travel that we come to. And I do believe, Darkness, you had something you wanted to do before anyone else, so this is your this is your time. Do it.
Okie dokie. Banara wakes up before everyone else, leaving her cloak on Rosa and Kayana, and goes off to start up a little fire. While also seeing what she has stored in her bag, food-wise.
All right.
Breakfast.
You do have plenty of general food supplies. Nothing extravagant or supreme, but you reckon you could probably work up
she
something
just
good
basically
with this.
got. Yeah, she basically got what she think would last a couple of days for pretty much everyone.
Some
Some
fruit
rashers of bacon, some beans, some egg. They're full on English going on.
stuff like that, yeah.
Well,
Maybe a fish or two for Rosa's benefit.
Fish.
well,
Shut up.
it depends. Would anyone notice or even smell the delicious food cooking by the fireplace? As she is hard at work.
Well, I suppose it ultimately depends. What kind of dish are you preparing, or shall you just leave that to my discretion?
Well, I've got it all noted, so...
Jesus, you're prepared, okay?
Of course you are.
I am prepared.
Just puts foot for the first time in forever song.
I would say it's to be around this point. She's probably cooking a couple of eggs, sausage, and bacon, since they seem to work well with each other.
Alright.
Also doing little things on the side that doesn't require cooking.
Okay. I'm not going to necessitate any rolls for this. I'm just going to assume that you know how to cook these things pretty well, given how long you've been on your own and had to cook your own meals.
Indeed.
So, over the course of the next while, as the sun starts to rise over the snow-smothered landscape, it is a sunny day, surprisingly. The temperature is definitely crisp and cool, but it is bright as the sun rises, shimmering and shining across the snowdrifts and rolling hills of reflective white. The world is nearly blinding to observe, and it is this blinding light as the sun is coming up, combined with the tantalizing aroma of freshly cooked eggs, bacon, sausage, and maybe a side of beans that gradually begins to rouse people from their slumber.
And while they do, she may also hear humming to herself. A bit of a happy tune.
Yee. So, in whatever order you wish, awaken. Just as a reminder, Kayana and Rosa are apparently wrapped up in Kunara's cloak.
And fluffy.
And Fluffy.
Yeah, Fluffy probably be beside them as always.
Since I don't know why, but since like Kunara's freaking cloak is humongous, why did I imagine Kai being covered?
Oh god, she's
Probably,
completely
she would get all
discovered by
snuggled
the
up,
thing.
I guess.
She's invisible again.
did the Kayana go this time? Anyways. I guess what do you all do is...
Yep.
Do I smell bacon? Rosa is going to stretch out as a cat would.
She's satisfying pops.
Oof.
Giving a mule of a yawn, and slowly get herself up. Probably having to move Kayana aside in the process, whether that wakes her up or not. Where's Cassandra and Leon right now?
As I recall, those two were napping like by a tree or something.
Cassandra is up in the tree, and last Aeon was playing with
Around.
sand.
No, he was building
Snow.
a tower in the
What
snow
is-
and just kept destroying it.
Yeah.
Where did Aeon end up going to sleep? Like, well, I assume with snuggled up to Cassandra.
Yeah, let's go with that, I guess. Yeah, he
Alright.
just at some point during the night just came up to her.
And they are cuddled up in a tree.
Aww.
What? Look around. Easily enough spot Kanara cooking.
She's focusing and flipping some eggs.
Ew, what's Mama cooking?
Oh. So, you pups finally woke up?
I'm not a pup. I'm a kitten.
Nah.
It's the exact opposite.
Kitten, pups. Whatever
Can't tell
the
the
term.
difference.
If you're about to say they are the same thing, do I need to explain the difference of biological descendancy from ancient felines and wolves that we come from, and how that are completely different? Biological.
Nerd.
Oh, good. Cassandra's awake.
Well,
Sorry,
what's it
did my being bookish wake you?
As a matter of fact, it did.
The smell of food woke me up.
Glad it did.
And I'll have all of you know there's nothing wrong with being book smart. Books are awesome,
Indeed.
especially when they're new. They smell so good.
Oh, I take your word for it. But anyways, I wasn't going to exactly say that. I was going to be more on the lines of I care equally. But anyway, yes, I have prepared a bit of a breakfast for you all. I feel like you can all use a little bit of a lightened tone, I guess. Which I have a few varieties for you to choose from. Even though some of you might prove to be a little bit difficult when it comes to your diet.
This cat elf is not going to say no to bacon.
Yes. I also managed to get a few bits of salmon and crab if you want anything like that.
Fish. Gimme.
Okay.
I require sustenance. Feed me.
A cat who loves her fish. What are the odds?
I hunger.
Just hold out a fish and then she'll be looking at it for hours.
Well, make sure to appeal to at least most of your diets as possible. So obviously you like the salmon and crab. Sausage and bacon, perhaps even egg, mostly for me and Tyr. But anyone else is welcome to it, I've got plenty. As for Fluffy, managed to pick up a few gasho greens and a few, I believe these are gasho pickles.
At the word Gaisho grains, Fluffy, who is still kind of sleeping, just suddenly lifts her head.
Prepared a little salad for her with a few fruits on the side. She wants them.
and just slowly hauls herself up to her talons and stomps over.
I think that woke up Kai. She's like, huh, what?
Morning. I'm preparing everyone breakfast.
And Fluffy just starts chomping on the veggies.
Yeah, Fluffy has already gone ahead. I'm glad she likes it.
As she does, she's always a growing bird.
My years of a interesting diet with Haven have served me well. Had to get creative with him. I've also could toast up some bread as well if anyone wants bread, by the ways. But then there's Aeon. To be honest, it was a bit tricky, but I think I've got something for you. But I may require your assistance, for I do not know how to cook pancakes.
Pancakes, Koopa?
Yes, there may not be donuts per se, but they still retain quite a high quantity of sugar, and they're sweet enough for you, I would imagine.
You've never had pancakes, Leon?
I don't think so, Koopa, but I'm not really sure if I'm hungry.
Wow. You are a growing noodle, so you have to eat.
Indeed. You mustn't sacrifice any important strength, especially on a new day. You need your energy, Aeon. And besides, you being turned to sweets, perhaps you could help me make a few. I mean, I do have a book, which the owner of the shop kindly allowed me to have, although I fear that my presence may unintentionally intimidated him a bit.
Why did I imagine Rosa just grabbing the book, just saying, thank you?
Not this time.
Aeon kind of just looks over at Kai and
It'd just be like a basic book on booking.
booking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aeon kind of looks at Kai and he looks back to Kunara and just like,
No, I'm really not that hungry, Kunara. Thank you, though.
And also Kai is kind of wrapped up in Kunara's cloak, because right now she's not being happy right now.
I'm not exactly sure what you may fancy, Kayana, if you do want anything. However, I did manage to also get a few grains of coffee, if that would help. Although, keep it away from Rosa. Sorry, Rosa, you're on a strict no coffee diet.
It's fine, the taste still keeps me away, and this is by osmosis.
That's good. And besides, fish and shellfish would be much better for you.
Well, I would be shellfish to not take you up on that
My
request.
And now as it just went down at that, it's like, oh no.
Oh, boo me. I'm trying.
Well, perhaps you could help me prepare it, since I never prepared fish before. So you would like it?
You need measurements?
Sure.
She from somewhere produces a ruler and gets to work.
So that was her first present as a child, a ruler. She spent the entire day measuring stuff.
If anything, a first person in a child will be a bookmark, but you know.
As for you, Aeon, I know you said you didn't want any, but I will attempt to make these pancakes.
Oh, I have
Anyways.
a text message.
he just kind of nods at her.
Jesus Christ, people, stop messaging me on Facebook. Shut up. I'm trying to run a game here.
Best to mute it.
Wait,
Stop being so popular.
wait. I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna nod at Kunara and go back to the snow, pick up my phone, keep messaging God.
Messaging God.
My dad and brother are currently just talking shit about Star Trek Online because they're apparently playing that. And talking about the Borg and starships, and I don't give a damn, and my phone kept dinging.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding 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 ding.
Sandra, I found this cool thing where the god is talking about this thing called star and then tracks, like the ships that run in space.
Oh, good. Maybe we can go to the moon. Maybe it's made of cheese.
I highly doubt that.
Go ahead, continue.
It looks like a bright white rock in the sky. With a few greys. Anyways. And besides, you are the natural of a book, so here you go. You can guide me through the process with this cookbook.
Talking to Rosa.
Yep.
She is looking at her tome of communion and not replying.
Because, as it seems, Rosa has gotten a message.
Oh. What's up, Rosa?
Give me a minute. She wanders away from camp.
Fair enough. Everyone else, help yourself out to whatever you wish.
Yeah, Kai's not moving from her spot right now.
Cassandra
I
is
shall
also
attempt to
playing
make
with her.
some coffee. Looking at the greens oddly, and then it's off to try to make it.
Alright, so you're trying to make coffee?
First time for her. She understands the process of pretty much water to it, but how does it happen?
How does one make coffee?
How does one coffee?
I need you to make a synthesis cooking check. But
Oh my
because you
God.
don't know a damn thing about how to make coffee aside from like the basics, it's made with these beans.
I mean, she doesn't even know how to make pancakes, let alone coffee.
So this is going to be a very high DC for you.
Well, looks like I get to use it after all.
Oh dear.
Oh boy. Plus my 3, that will be 12.
12. Over the course of the next, I'd say like 10 to 12 minutes, you're kind of trying. What you end up getting is this kind of flaky mess. Like you finally get it poured into a cup and you look at it and there's just like beans free floating in there.
Yeah, Kanaz has
little-
got like a sour look on her face
little
when she saw that.
Little congealed lumps of coffee bean pulp just kind of floating around some shriveled up bits of coffee bean skin. This is not coffee. This is a mistake.
And a bummer.
Well, yep. Forgive me, Kayana. I wish not to waste the rest of these coffee grains because, yeah, this is a huge mistake. Ugh.
It's fine.
So Kayana
No.
isn't moving right now, right?
No.
Which, I was going to say, Kanar just walks over and sits down in front of her. While the others are tucking into their breakfast, is there anything you want to talk about? Or I could do for you?
I just don't want to talk about it. I'm already freaking crying.
Aww.
We haven't even done anything yet.
I know, but I feel kind.
Well, If you wish not to, fair enough, but if you do feel that you do need to talk, feel free to do so in your own time. It's not good bottling up.
Symmetry, it rhymes.
Right?
Yes.
The same fucking message in two different places. I love it.
Hmm.
And by the way, she's literally bundled up in your freaking Kunara's cloak.
Hmm. You may hold on to it as long as you wish, but I would require it back when we head off out. Besides, I don't think it will fit you.
Funny.
Either that, you... I suppose, because we still have, like, the Chocobo carriage, don't we?
We do.
So, yeah. I suppose you could bundle up in that and head off in the carriage. Or hang on to it until we reach our destination. Since we're not going to be traveling on foot.
You have reached your destination.
Swishes. Yes.
Okay.
I'm figuring childhood nickname.
Yep.
Sure.
Because your tail is an active little thing.
Right.
Suspicious.
Alright, so that's as many messages as you're going to get for the time being.
So I guess it passes on to someone else.
I was mostly talking to Tom there. He's been using the Book of Communion.
You know, oh, remember, Rosa isn't in camp right now. She's wandered off into the...
Yeah, that's
Wait,
why...
are we in a field in trees?
You're kind of in open grassland for the most part. If you look off to the west, you can see Mount Lalafell Range sprawling out. If you look to the east, just visible in the distance, you can see the edge of the Tarlaw forests. But it's mostly open grassland, so like you might be a ways away from camp, but you should be visible still.
Okay.
Actually, on that note, okay, Rosa, I need you to make an awareness check for me, please.
Fuck! Come on, give her a break.
Awareness check. Don't fuck it up.
That's a 6 and a 1 plus 3, 10.
10. All right. Against the nearly blindingly bright, snowy landscape hit from the sunlight from above, it's pretty visible and it stands out, especially since most things that might stand out against the white snow are buried under it. So to see something moving across it, very visible. And as you're sort of looking up from your book, sort of heaving a sigh after that last string of messages, you look up and you see what looks to be a group of 5 figures moving across the snow not terribly far away. You can't make out any details from here, but they appear to be roughly human in size.
A tail will swish, as it is prophesied to do.
as the prophecy foretold, yes.
Swishy.
Swishes.
So short distance away, is there any cover between me and them?
You're kind of at a somewhat elevated position, so not any meaningful cover now.
Does it look like they've seen me?
You can't tell from here. There's a lot of glare.
Well, she will, seeing that, she will let out a slow breath and let go of the urge she had to break something. Which I was trying to think of a way to creatively do, but that's gone now. And she will turn back towards camp and then towards the others.
All right.
Which is probably around this time Kanara's giving a shot of trying to cook fish.
There's people.
There's what?
There's people.
Yeah. Can you be a little more specific?
There's people on the road over there.
That's the reaction I expected now.
Kanara's already just is fucked up at that. As soon as you mentioned people and
Are they good people or bad people?
I don't know. You're the Dragoon. Maybe jump in the air or something.
Did they see you?
She just shrugs.
But you're a cat. Can't you jump on trees?
No, she'll get stuck in them.
She
Well,
doesn't.
Tiamat's tail kind of whips around to smack you in the back of the head.
We're gonna need more information on them.
Dude, come on. You know Grandpa Vampy got in trouble for that.
Oddly enough, Rosa doesn't bat an eye right now.
Hey, Tia.
Yep.
Would it be possible if you could survey them out and try to make out who they are?
Sure, I can go take a look. That good with you, Cass?
Sure.
Alright, be right
Just be
back.
careful, Tia.
I always am. And his wings unfurl, his body coils like a spring, and then with a little updraft of snowy flurries, he flies off into the air, goes up and up. And I need Hades to make an awareness check for Tiamat. Don't forget that because he's Tiamat, he gets an extra d6. $14. Okay. 14. All right. After a couple of minutes, Tiamat comes flying back and comes to a landing. Okay, yeah, those things are not alive.
Ah.
Not alive?
I got close enough to get a smell. There's a lot of stench of rotting meat on those things. I don't think those are people. I think those are undead.
Undead?
Zombies. Good.
Out in the open?
I wouldn't think such a thing would be
Did
possible.
you see it? Did you see a graveyard near here or something?
I didn't see anything like that.
Zombies are very much possible, but you don't normally find them outside, like, I don't know, ancient ruins.
Anything that cheats death to me is impossible.
Kayana, I would like you to make a lore general check. Add an extra d6, please. Because this is something you would be likely to know.
What is there, a tomb that they just fly out of?
Well,
What do I need to do? I wasn't paying attention.
I just need you to make for me a lore general check. Or lore history, whichever one you have.
I need to get my sheet out. Hold on.
You should have had that right at the gate.
Sorry.
I know it's been a while, but me.
Me, 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 me.
Memes. Me.
oh god, don't go up and conquer in this.
I am the great mighty Nope.
Oh god. No, we're not bringing that into this. Shut up.
The fact that I actually own the copy of the original Nintendo Evolved version of that,
Oh my god.
and it's the only game I have on that.
God, why?
Why not?
I came across the console and the game, so I thought, why not? They're mine.
I want to know
My head
what.
against the wall, I swear.
I want to know what guy was smoking. What guy was like smoking weed or whatever he was smoking to make that a boss fight. Like
Truly a genius madman.
God.
Why are you my husband?
Bit.
Anyway, for lore, right?
Lore.
Seems like you don't have either of the ones I called for, so yeah, it'll just be a flat 3d6.
We these.
Roll well.
Which at this point, Canaris is getting her stuff ready.
3d6,
sixes.
right?
Yep.
3d6. $13.
All right.
That's not bad.
So, Kyanna, you are very much aware of this. So there are a lot of lessons you didn't necessarily pay much attention to back when you were still living at your old estate. You are familiar with this one. Not long after the events of the Amber, during the events of the Amber Tide, when demons were swarming across the landscape, numerous Taruphelian tombs from long before the current form of Lapenia took shape were broken open by the rampaging demons and the spells they were throwing around. With the tombs broken open, the spells that bound their undead protectors to them were broken, and numerous undead began to spill out into the wider world, believing they were defending their tombs, when in reality they were just going on mindless rampages. It's been a constant but minor threat pretty much ever since the Amber Tide came to a close. On occasion, more powerful tomb guardians could even occur, but those generally fell apart or were the first to be eliminated, due in large part to the fact that they had large hordes following them around.
Since I can't explain that in my own words because of the background, so I'm just gonna let Kai just explain that.
Yeah.
And just say at the end, just going like, "Oh, I did pay attention in class."
Yeah. So Kyanna gives that quick explanation to everyone.
Yeah. Cool was fun.
Tear.
Still-
What-
You go, it's fine.
Here. Were they heading back in our direction at all, where you were flying back? Or were they just going somewhere else?
Heading vaguely in our direction, but I'm not sure if they saw me or Rosa or not.
So we have a choice. Either make a stand or we head out now. Your call.
I say we just go.
Yes, because I am not for one that's up for the undead type. I wouldn't even think that such a thing is possible, but behold,
Well,
life
get
is full of
used-
surprises.
That it is. Get used to it. I don't feel like getting bit by a zombie this morning, so we're leaving.
Fluffy, cart. Already.
Mhm.
Right.
I've already started packing up everything.
All right.
Which
So,
Kyanna, I'm gonna need my cloak back just in case, unfortunately.
If I could, as everyone's sort of going about this, trying to get camp packed up as quickly as possible to evade a confrontation with these undead, could I have everyone make for me a athletics check,
Athletics.
just to see how quickly you get to go about this? This will determine if you're able to sort of skirt around the encounter or not.
He wants us stabbing again. He wants us to be
Well, of
eaten.
course he does.
he wanted us to get into a fight last time. We
Ah,
didn't go through that.
7, 8,
Back.
9, 10 again, just
Don't
different
have any.
combination.
Cassandra
so you can
rolled
make-
black
Wait a minute, I
shit.
got it on my phone. On my
I
phone,
rolled
next
higher
to me,
than
charge it up.
Sandra.
So yeah, Cassandra and Aeon are just not feeling it this morning.
I'm higher
And
than you.
I know.
Well,
6 and a 7.
let's see.
Come on, Kunara. You might make or break this.
Well, she's definitely alert, that's for sure. That would be... Let's need to check to see if it boots up, please. Because my phone's on charge. There we go. What does 16 do for me?
16?
Yeah.
Honey, you better not be lying.
I mean, I got 5 in awareness. It was a... Oh, wait.
No,
Hang
it's
on.
athletics.
Athletics. So 14.
14.
No, 12. 12. It's 12.
12.
Well, which is it?
It's 12.
All right, 12. That's still a pretty good number, all things considered. So, this was a contested roll. You were all rolling your athletics versus the zombies' finesse. As long as someone rolled higher than them, I was going to count it as a success. And you guys managed to have a total of 3 rolls higher than what the zombies rolled. So,
Yay,
So
Rose's
the
moving
only
done
ones
with
that
this
failed
shit.
were Cassandra and Aeon.
So, moving quickly and in coordination with a couple of, with some small lag coming from the dragon siblings, you're eventually able to scrounge up your supplies, not leave anything behind, and get it all loaded in the back of the cart and get loaded up. As you're sort of getting loaded up, you lift your eyes up and you can see that horde of undead is sort of, there's 5 of them in total, sort of coming over a nearby rise and shambling in your general direction, but you recognize that if you have Fluffy move at a good pace, you'll outrun them easily enough.
They're zombies. How fast can they run?
If they get close, I'll just kill them. That tends to work.
And we're in the cart, so Kanar's already got a bow out, well, pretty much signaling Rosa, step on it with Fluffy.
So yeah, Fluffy lets out a little warbling cry and a sharp sort of screech at the zombies before turning and kicking off into a sharp run, heading wide around them. You can kind of hear the guttural sort of crackling groans and gurgles of the zombies as they're trying to give chase. But you quickly skirt around them and get back onto the road, pushing north at a pretty good clip. You don't know for sure how long they'll try to follow your tracks, but break line of sight for long enough and eventually they'll stop pursuing you altogether, so. A problem for someone else to deal with. Just because I want to, I will show you the battle map that you guys just skipped.
Oops.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah. Kanar's quick thinking and us pretty much getting everything out of there in time.
Problem is, I think he caught us at the moment where we're just fucking done.
Yeah. It was going to be a random encounter somewhere later down the line, but then I noticed Rosa was kind of just off on her own, and I thought, that could have potential for some drama.
And I believe Kanar's hit points are incorrect.
Maybe.
She has 120, but I also checked.
Check up a sheet now.
Is he? Yeah. Long as she has her equipment on, she has 120.
Oh yeah, because no equipment.
I must not have
That was
updated her
it.
token on this map then.
Yeah.
That's
Regardless,
fine.
doesn't matter.
Anyways. Oh, that was too close.
Fluffy's a good runner.
I don't like undead. Ugh. Unnatural things.
Tell me about it. I haven't felt chill down my spine in years like that.
Oh, they're just walking sacks of pus. Come on.
Those
doesn't
things
make it
should
better.
not be.
They're gross.
Yep.
If they're walking sacks of pus, then you stick them and suddenly you're covered in the gunk. Do you have any idea how bad pus smells? Especially when it's decomposing? Ugh.
Oh, come on, Tyr, you're a dragon.
Yes, and that means I have a really sensitive nose.
And I concur with Tyr. The smell of rotting flesh isn't pleasant. And who knows what else.
Yeah, be thankful you're a human and you have a stunted sense of smell. You don't have to deal with the worst of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heightened senses have their pros, but also their cons.
And Tyr's just gonna find a corner of the wagon and curl up into a little noodle pile.
Well, that's certainly not how I wanted our breakfast to go. However, I did manage to cook a bit of fish and crab for you if you still wanted, Rosa.
Later.
Yeah, that food might have been what attracted them.
I don't think that they have a sense of smell. They're zombies. They probably don't have noses.
If
One of
they're
the first
walking,
things to fall off and decomposition.
I'm pretty sure when you die, most of your senses are gone. So yeah, that definitely went after the food. Let's see what food. It'd be us probably.
After a while of running, Fluffy begins to slow back down to a regular pace. There's a few little chirps and calls.
It's okay, girl. think got the best of them.
Mm.
It's a pickle.
Yes, we may have lost them for now, but there may be more, so I vote that we keep our eyes open.
I'm going to have Fluffy go for a few more hours before stopping for a break towards Anomo.
All right.
Mm.
So then,
Luckily, they don't move too fast, so if we get ahead of them far enough, we should make it before they could catch up to us, if they pursue us.
Well, they're not supposed to be alive, so I doubt they can move very fast,
Oh no, they're supposed to be dead, which I'm still trying to process how the heck they are still walking.
It's called magic.
Oh.
It's generally a forbidden art these days, using magic to reanimate corpses, but some older civilizations before things really got established practiced it.
Well, now I know even more downsides to magic.
It's
Must
like
be-
the old saying goes, the dead will always outnumber the living.
Yeah.
all right. So then, with that in mind, you continue on your way, picking your way north. The landscape rolls slowly by. Once Fluffy slows back down to a more reasonable pace so as not to exhaust herself or hurt anything. Following the remnants of your old trail from last time you passed this way, the day comes and comes to a close after making a few other turns and coming over a small little foothill ridge. If there's anything else any of you wish to do over the course of this journey, do let me know. Otherwise, travel pace takes hold at this point.
Not until it's stopped.
Kanara is curious about what Rose is talking about, but she figures it is a private matter, so she doesn't really say anything to. She doesn't really say anything to ask what it was about.
That was fast!
That's fun for you. Look at Art Repository Darkness.
Because I already
Oh!
hasn't seen it.
I love it.
If you're there, look at the art.
Yes.
That was so fucking fast. I love it. I'm going to turn that into an emoji.
Yeah.
Why is that accurate?
It's perfect.
Continue.
Amazing.
Good job. Very nicely
That's
done. That is
awesome.
great. You delight us once again.
Just put the picture right there.
So,
Hold up.
will we set up camp anywheres, or we're just going straight there in the last few days? Oh, how long will it take us?
I gotta rest some point. When the night comes, I will pull over at the hill DM mentioned, and we can set up camp.
All right.
Yeah.
More camp.
And
guess.
while we're setting up, Rose is going to look for a moment to catch Tia.
All right. Tiermith is he's usually sticking around with with Cassandra and Aeon, but you catch a moment where he kind of flies up to get a lay of the land, make sure nothing is sneaking up on you, and is then coming back down.
Tia,
Huh? What's up?
it's not too presumptuous. Can I ask a favor?
Depends on what the favor is, but I'm all ears.
Okay, look, here's the deal. We're kind of worried about Aeon with this whole shadow thing you might have heard about.
Yeah, I heard.
We were talking with Cassandra about it and suggesting getting him checked out to see if he's okay. But at the moment, Aeon started crying. She wouldn't hear anything else of it. Reason went out the window. If there is something wrong, wouldn't it be better to know rather than not? And ignore it until it rears its own head?
It's fair. And I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, Aeon's my
Right.
brother. I want to help him however I can. What do you have in mind?
Well, just if there's a sign of something medically wrong, you don't ignore it because that's how things go wrong. And while Aeon is in the conversation and gets upset, Cassandra won't listen.
She is very protective of him, yeah.
Which is dangerous for him. So, if it's okay, could you keep Aeon talking a while, or Kanara and I have a chat with Cassandra?
I think I could try something like that. I'm not sure how receptive he'll be, but I can certainly try.
Even if you get him to terrorize you for a bit, I suppose. But
Ah, gee, thanks.
I mean, just anything that'll keep his attention and not have him wander over to the conversation and cause Cassandra to ball up.
Right. I'll see what I can do.
Thanks, dear.
Kind of gives you a big grin and turns and starts making his way over towards Aeon. And what is
We're
Aeon
just
doing as
quietly-
camp is getting
Sorry.
set up?
Is there still snow? I'm assuming there's still winter, right?
Yeah, we are still right in the middle of fucking winter. We're in the month called Shadow Chill. Days are short and nights are cold as fuck.
Assuming he's just sitting or staying close to Cassandra, but still like building up snow piles and then just pushing him down to the ground.
Everyone's sad.
T-Myth is gonna kind of come up and watch as you build up another snow pile before pushing it down, and he'll tilt his head.
Why do you keep doing that?
I don't know. Ever since we left that place with what happened with Kai Kupo, I just picture it's a building and just goes away. I just want to take away what happened to Kai and make it go away.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. But I'm not really sure it's the best idea to go about it like that. I mean, you said you're imagining that being Kai's home every time you push it over?
Not Kai's home. The jerk that we talked to, Kupo. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing it. Just feels right, Kupo.
Does it, though? You don't sound particularly happy.
I'm not happy with what Kai dealt with. That jerk denied her, Kupo.
I mean... Yeah, and that's upsetting, but... Speaking perfectly bluntly, I'm not really sure any of that was any of our business, you know?
She introduced him to us. If it wasn't our business, then why did she want us to beat him, Kupo?
I don't know. I feel like there was a lot going on there that we didn't really know about.
I'm fine, Kupo. You can go back and do what dragon things you do, Kupo.
You don't even know what dragon things I do you?
Nor am I not interested, Kupo. I'm not a dragon.
No, you're not, but you do live with one, and your big sister is a dragoon.
Again, I did not have the choice, Kupo, when you came. Everything was fine before that, Kupo, but then you know how that went.
I mean, I didn't get the choice in the matter either. I wasn't an egg.
Nothing's stopping you now. You got wings, Kupo. You don't think you ever want to see your actual mom?
I know where she is, but she's not the one who
Yeah.
raised me.
Yeah. At least you have an actual mom, Kupo.
Hey, so do you.
He kind of just like turns opposite away from Tyr.
The way I see it, our actual parents aren't the ones who spawn us. They're the ones who raise us right. Vidafnir laid my egg, but Cassandra and the rest of the family are the ones who raised me. Some Moogle gave birth to you and then stuffed you in a box. And then Cassandra and the rest of the family raised you. The way I see it, the Moogle that left you in that box doesn't know what they're missing out on. And if they were dumb enough to put you in a box and cast you out to sea, then they don't deserve you. You're too good for that.
Hmm.
He kind of circles around to be in front of you again and kind of coils up.
I know you got a lot on your mind. A lot of things you don't know, and I wish I had answers for you. Really, I do. But I am here if you need me. You know that, right?
He kind of just gets emotional. He just kind of tries to get out of the coil.
Well,
I-
Tiamat wasn't like coiling around Aeon.
Oh, okay.
He got
I
in
thought
front
it was,
of Aeon and then sort of coiled up on the spot, like a pile of rope.
Okay. Got it. Sorry. I thought at first when you said coil, he was coiling around him.
No. Tiamat knows his
can't-
boundaries.
He kind of just floats up a bit.
I know, but there's parts of me that want to know the answers, Kupo, and the other part of me doesn't.
Well, I can't necessarily tell you what to do on that front. But I can still be here just to give you some company if you need it. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really had many chances to just hang out with you, or play with you, or any of those kid things that we kind of missed out on. I mean, you were always trying to blow me up or launch me places, never had the chance.
To me, those were fun.
I mean, maybe, but is it the same kind of fun you might have if you're, like, playing peekaboo with Rosa, or building snowmen or snow angels?
I don't know, Kupo. I'm not really interested in playing right now. I just want to stay by Sandra.
And like Cassandra is like right there. I should add because like Aeon was like just floating next to her the whole time when Tiamat came over.
She's probably like laying down, like not far away from them. Yeah, she can hear.
I mean, wasn't this whole thing like trying to get Dayon distracted? And I figured we'd be having our conversation while this was going on. We cut.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I wasn't
Yeah.
sure, but I didn't know what was going on.
Partly. Part of Aeon's objective right now is to see if he can get Aeon further away from Cassandra to minimize any risks.
Well, yeah.
Timoth kind of uncoils a little bit, slithers forward a little bit just to get it like a little closer physical proximity. Pauses for a second.
Can I at least give you a hug?
Kind of like just flinches for a moment, kind of uncomfortable, and he just thinks for a second and just nods.
And then Tiermith will slither forward and very carefully and delicately just kind of wrap himself around Aeon a few times in this kind of looping hug gesture. Wings wrapped around protectively.
If I, might make one small suggestion. Maybe next time you're building one of those piles of snow, maybe think less about what you want to break, and maybe think more about what you want to build.
I'll try.
Jerk or not, I'm not sure Kayana really wants us to do anything with that Pippin guy. It'd be better if we built something up with all of us here. Yeah?
It's not that I want to do something. I don't know what this feeling is, Kopo. Just feels like I want it to happen, but the other part of me knows that it's wrong.
I think we call those elaborate revenge fantasies.
Revenge fantasies, Kopo?
It's basically just like this mental thing, thoughts that happen where you get these really elaborate ideas about getting payback on someone or something that you think's wrong to you. And internally you recognize, oh, all this shit is really horrible and evil and I'm absolutely not gonna do it. But for just like a moment, you let yourself imagine the catharsis that might come with it, and it... supposedly it's good for you, but not if you overindulge in it, I think.
He kind of just like looks at the snow and just takes a deep breath and just says, and he's gonna say thank you.
If I could share a little secret with you. I have those sorts of little fantasies all the time when it comes to, well, you know, the guy back in Garlat.
I guess everyone does.
The dude was a gigantic dick. Maybe someday he'll actually get comeuppance for what he did, but for now, it's not good to dwell on it over much.
And he just kind of settles his chin on top of your head. And you can kind of feel like his little exhale sort of tickling your ears as he's doing so. Alright. And so, just kind of coiled up there with a tear wrapped up all around you, sort of wings protectively covering you up, having that quiet conversation, I think now's a good time we can kind of pivot over to what's going on with Cassandra.
Well, right. As that conversation had just started, if you allow us to reverse time a little bit.
Yeah, it's fine.
As Tiamat starts to talk to Aeon as Aeon is destroying his latest snow sculpture, we're just gonna wander up to Kanara and go, "Hey, I've recruited Tia. Mind backing me up?"
Sure. I just finished my patrol around the perimeter. We
It's
seem
fine.
to be safe.
I'll go chat with her. Just join in if you see an opportunity or need to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would be happy to help with this situation. Trust me. It concerns me just as much as you.
I know. Then, leaving Kanara to finish her patrol, she's then going to.
Well, she has finished patrolling the perimeter, and as she said, they seem to be safe, so she's going along with you.
I see. Then she's going to go up to Cassandra and checking to see whether Aeon is still in conversation with Tiamat. He is.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of catches briefly the line about your true parents being the ones who raised you right. He winces a bit of that for turning to Cassandra. Hey,
She kind of just looks over to Rosa. Yeah.
looks. Can we talk a minute?
Kind of talking right now, aren't we?
Cassandra, please.
Alright. She just gets up.
Go a short distance away, just out of earshot of Aeon and Tiamat.
Alright, what's up?
It's about the other day in the bathhouse. With all the tidal wave thing.
There are a lot of things happening that you have to be more specific.
The shadow.
She doesn't say anything.
I know maybe you're about to chew me out or get angry or something, but just hear me out a second.
She's not saying anything, but she's not moving.
In my experience as a healer from my studies under Tom and all of that, you see a bump, for example, somewhere on the skin where it shouldn't be, the most dangerous thing you can do is ignore it. Pretend it doesn't exist. Because it may be perfectly curable, but if you wait, then it decides to pop up in its own time. I'm worried about Aeon, and I think for his sake, just getting him looked at to make sure he's okay, he's healthy, would be better than just waiting and seeing. In case, if the shadow's real, wouldn't it be better to be able to find out what it is and confront it on your terms than waiting for it to do whatever it's about?
Rosa, let me explain something to you. In my experience with combat in dangerous situations, adrenaline, anger, and desperation can make you see a lot of things. You were half feral during that fight.
In which case,
Who knows what you saw?
if that was
Saw
the
a trick of the
case,
light, you could have saw something he conjured. I've known him. I've known Aeon for 10 years.
if that's the case, then there's nothing to worry about. Getting him checked out would confirm that you're right, and I'm just being silly because I saw nothing as usual. But what if, just please for a second, just ask, what if it was something? Do you want to wait for it to come back on its own? Would you rather be secure in the knowledge that you're right rather than just guessing in apprehension and trying to ignore it?
Okay, first, I want to correct a typo I said earlier. It's 15, not 10. And just put that on the record. Back to this. I know him better than anyone. 15 years, I would have seen this shadow you keep trying to convince everybody is real.
As if it was even there before. Diseases aren't necessarily there, or diseases, illnesses, or afflictions aren't necessarily there all your life. They can be picked up.
And where would he have picked it up? I've been with him his whole life.
We've been traipsing through dungeons of killers and magic and necromancers.
So what's to say you don't have a shadow? Or I do?
Who's to say we don't? I mean, what's the worst that could happen for just finding Grandma Panara, who is an expert in these kind of weird things, and just talking to her and asking her?
Oh yes, because she's a great example of doing the right thing.
That's not fair, and you know it, Shadowgrasp.
Well, listen to me, Soulwind. He is my little brother. I am responsible for him. If he doesn't want to, he's not going to. So, do everyone here a favor and drop it.
If it was your mother and you were showing signs of something, would she have ignored you and just told everyone to drop it until it was too late?
Don't you ever bring up my mother again.
If you really... I'm not disputing, Cassandra, please just listen. I'm not disputing that you know Aeon better than any of us. That's not even remotely what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that we should get him a medical checkup. All of us, if you want. If it'll make him feel more comfortable. Just to... so you can know that he's okay.
He is perfectly fine. He's healthy, he's happy, and it's all that matters.
Happy. Kind of glances off towards Aeon, who is, down the dumps, fidgeting, talking to Tiamat.
Look, the whole thing with Kai has got all of us under the weather.
Not just Kai, it's everything that's happened, and I would just very much like to confirm that this one thing is just in my head, and it isn't real, and to know he's fine.
I'm telling you now. It's fine. You want to get yourself checked out by your dear old grandma? Go for it.
If you ignore this, you'll hurt him yourself.
What did you just say to me?
You know it's true.
I would never hurt Aeon. And if you ever even suggest something like that again, there will be consequences. Do I understand each other?
Is that where we're going now?
This is something you started.
I'm trying to help.
I never asked for it.
She slaps her. You brought me out here. I'm trying to help. I know a thing or two about magic. Maybe it's nothing, Cassandra. Maybe it's something. Maybe you should let others help for a change. Because the rest of us care. About you, about Aeon, about Tyr. We've been through hell.
And at that word, Cassandra punches Rosa right in the face.
Can she...
May I point that Kanara was there and witnessing this? Couldn't she just like have a stop punch? She's been watching this, and pretty much after the slap, her senses are now alert, and it's getting violent. She's going to step in until this happened. So.
Yeah, real quick. Just opposed force check between Kunara and Cassandra, I guess, to see if Kunara can intervene to keep the punch from happening in time.
Okay.
Cassandra's doing things she's going to regret.
Especially with Mama Wolf around.
All of Cassandra's character flaws coming out in force.
And she rolled like shit.
Oh my god.
So now you know that she's not all there.
Yeah, I rolled pretty good.
What did you
Of
get?
course you did.
Oh, hang on, my bloody cameras. Rolled a 2 and a 6. I just need to check my force.
2 and 6. Not greatest roll. What's your force modifier? So
My force
Oh, you
is
plus 8. So yeah, you probably got it.
5.
So yeah,
Force is Wolf's strong point. Rather than finesse, because Wolf is big.
Yeah, she just comes in.
With Mama Wolf.
Yeah, she just comes in and just ups the punch and has a
Like-
really serious look on her face.
Like, grabs Cassandra by the wrist as she's winding back.
Yeah, I imagine she would have caught the punch herself in her palm, but so she just stepped right in front of her, stopped it. Yeah.
so she's holding Cassandra's wrist.
Yeah. Cassandra. Please calm yourself. You're not thinking straight and you let your emotions get the best of you again. And please may I say a few words.
This doesn't concern you.
I think it does.
You have
Well, you
5
see-
seconds to let go of me.
First, you're going to listen to me.
Yes, you are. She's going to cast stop on Cassandra. Quick cast.
Okay, opposed finesse check.
Not what I had in mind, but what?
Well, Cassandra's about to fight back, so stopping, just casting vines to hold her in place so she has to listen. Like she can't run from
yeah.
The
this.
inner Thanatos coming in.
Oh
Hold on,
dear.
what's my finesse? What's
I think at this
Yes,
point,
it-
like everyone else will have noticed that things are getting heated over here.
I was like, can we hear anything, or can Aeon
I think-
at least hear anything?
I think like you probably all became aware that
mean-
something was going down when the slap happened. That's a pretty sharp
mean, I
sound.
was,
Everyone would have heard that.
9, 10,
Well,
11,
actually,
13.
I would have pointed out before that. I would have think they would have heard by now because Cassandra raised her voice, at Rosa
that's-
before the slap.
There's that, but the slap definitely would have been the thing that, like, okay, something is serious.
So yeah, double the loudness.
I got
essentially.
13, by the way. 4 and a 5 plus 4.
Damn it!
All right, a bunch of vines come bursting up out of the snow and wrap around Cassandra, around your elbow, your wrist, your ankles, around your
Can she-
torso, and kind of just around your
Can she
shoulders.
talk? Can she talk with stuff or no?
Rosa, what's your call on that?
For the moment, she's not gagging, huh? These are noticeably not the thorny kind of vines that she would normally use on their enemies. These are much
For
smoother.
the moment, in quote.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these vines don't hurt. They just
Mhm.
restrain.
Why did I imagine a rose just come on freaking Rose's hand, and she's just like whenever Cassandra tries to talk, she just puts it in her mouth.
Just stuffs a flower in there?
Yeah.
That wouldn't go over well.
That wouldn't go over well. Plus,
Not the tone of the scene.
You all do remember she can breathe fire.
If it looks like she's about to breathe fire, then a vine will block that shit.
Mm.
Spicy.
that's a spicy meatball.
Yes.
I will kill you.
Anyway, she's,
No, you won't.
anyway, she was about to try to resist. Vines come up, restrain her. Kanara, go.
Not what I had intended, but you have to listen to me.
Why?
For
What's
What?
with your friends, damn you?
yes, but also, most importantly of all, I understand. You know Aeon better than any of us. That is clear as fact. However, where you claim to be siblings, you are acting like an overprotective parent. Sorry to be so blunt, but I should know. I tried to protect Haven from not just the dangers of the outside world, but members of my own pack. And look what happened. I made mistakes. I thought I knew what was best. But I didn't. I was wrong. And that guilt has always been with me ever since that day I let him down. I saw pure fear and terror on him. And then I never saw him at all when I left. I thought I lost him. Not because of Eclipser, not because of any other complications, but because of me. I failed him. And that is something I can never forgive myself for.
That's the biggest difference between you and me. I won't abandon him.
Cassandra,
I did not abandon Haven. He ran away from me because I failed him. I did not do what was right, and I paid the ultimate price. And I thought he did as well. What I'm trying to get at is, we just need to make sure that Aeon's fine. Please, you have to understand. What if Rosa is right or wrong? It doesn't matter as long as we know by fact. As Panara could figure that out. I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did, but I also want to make sure that Aeon is safe.
He is safe as long as he's with me.
But you're not alone. We're all here and we all care. And there's a reason why I also made sure that your safety even put you second in command. Perhaps even a better leader than I someday.
Cassandra, shadow aside, if he grows sick, one day he gets a rash, starts coughing, any of the medical symptoms, what would you do? You take him to a doctor.
Well,
'Cause-
I've done that for him his whole life. He's been sick, he's had fears, and I was there all the time.
Yes, and you can be still by him now. They're no different from those times, taking him, whether it's taken to a doctor or a mage for a magical ailment. I mean, you're scared. Scared of hurting him, scared something wrong. Yeah, we're all scared. But please think about it, Cassandra, for a moment and ask whether by ignoring it, are you helping him or yourself? Because I would.
Scared. You don't know what being afraid is.
Don't know. You were there. The day the dagger after nearly robbed me of every breath I had. You. A lot of promises you made. And I was so taken in by them. Big sister, cousin, someone, family, finally. I guess, in the end, maybe I pushed it too hard. You know, I shouldn't have. I was so excited to meet you, and I guess I got my hopes up too much. She releases the vines and she begins to walk away.
Kanara looks at Rizzo walking off and then looks back at Cassandra. Don't just depend on yourself, just look after him. You have to also trust us. And even let us help him.
She just looks over at her without even turning her head.
Besides,
Trust. I don't even trust myself. And with that, she jumps away.
looking up at Cassandra,
Just
As she
vanishing
jumps
up
up.
into the midnight sky because she used the jump spell or jump ability.
Mm-hmm.
Kanara mutters to herself. Another thing we have in common. As she looks at a reflection of herself in a sword and then turns away. And goes sees where Rosa went.
And as you're walking off, I think we ought to cut back to Aeon and Tiermouth because they absolutely would have seen all of that.
Yep. Oh boy.
Does Aeon have anything to say?
So is this after she jumps off? Like, I'm trying to make sure I get the placement right.
Yeah, this is just after
it is.
Cassandra jumped off and then Kunara went walking to catch up to Rosa.
So are we just like hiding in a bush?
What?
Or are we
no,
just
I
like,
imagine-
walked in? Like, that's what I'm trying.
Well, we were all pretty much around like a campsite, so I mean,
Okay.
We
Okay.
had walked. We were in sight still. We'd walked just beyond your ear view
Oh,
while you're talking to
okay.
Tia, but then our
Mhm.
voices got a bit raised, so you probably could have heard that.
and then the slap,
Yeah.
and of course the vines and everything holding her. So yeah, there's something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And as the voices got raised, you probably got an idea of what was wrong.
Yeah. I don't know if he has anything to say at the moment. He's just kind of just shook from everything that he saw.
Tiermith is going to very gingerly escort Aeon over towards the campfire.
No.
Huh?
No. Don't touch me, Tyr. I don't want to go.
And it's cold.
I don't care.
I do.
I don't. Just leave me alone, Tyr. I'm gonna go look for Sandra.
That's what I was about to go do.
And he flares out his wings and poof, takes off into the air. So, let's cut over to Kunara and Rosa, I guess. Does Kayana have anything she wants to add to any of this?
Yeah, I was going to bring up, what about Kayana?
Because you would have
What
seen
is
all
she
that
think?
shit, too.
How does she react to this?
She was definitely covering her ears because, yeah, her arguments don't go well together.
Mm.
Three
Like
birds
me in
cracking.
Oh dear.
Anyway, as for Rosa, she doesn't want to be followed right now, so she's trying to evade Kanara.
And I guess Kanata be tracking her down.
Alright. Rosa, stealth, Kunara, nature.
Can you outrun the wolf?
That is a good question.
So, stealth and nature, you said.
Yep.
You have to be a critical.
What?
You got a crit?
You got 6s.
Oy.
What is with you? Are you like...
Those are just some well-balanced dice, I guess. Jesus.
I mean, I don't want to believe my Irish heritage makes me lucky.
Wow, about
Like
your
you
luck.
claim.
I have Irish heritage, too, and I don't get rolls like that.
I mean, that's what Hades is going off. He thinks that I am lucky
Yeah,
because I'm
thing
part
is-
Irish for some.
Thing is, Darkness, about your luck, I think we need a re-roll.
Did you get a
You
critical
rolled two
success, too?
sixes too?
Yeah.
Are you?
Okay,
The
yeah.
Brits are lucky.
Okay,
Is there
yeah.
some Irish in there too, Tom?
Pardon?
Is there some Irish in there?
Nope. Just bullshit luck.
Yeah, alright.
Bullshit British luck.
Reroll it.
Top of the morning, dear lad. Well, we're doing it again.
Yep, roll it.
This will be the deciding factor. And one.
Yeah, that's a 3, and re-roll that other dice.
Yep.
And I need to find my stuff.
And I shall reroll a 5.
Okay, 3 and 5.
Okay, I'm gonna come down to what your nature skill is versus my stealth, so mine comes down to a 10 in total.
When regardless, I think. Yeah, I have a 4 in nature. So that would be 13. Not an unlucky number this time around.
Nope, I only have +1 in stealth. So I ain't the stealth elf.
Even the unlucky number wins. What the fuck?
5 and a 4, which is a good roll, but only a +1 in stealth, so yeah, it
You-
came down to the pluses.
You did not inherit from the stealth elf.
Yeah,
No.
she's not a knee.
No,
She is a Rosa.
Rosa is her own unholy, less put together person.
Mm.
Which is impressive considering when you remember me at her worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how I imagine this is going, Nara is pretty impressed you're trying to cover up your tracks.
Imagine this goes on because of that contested crit on crit. This goes on for a little while.
Yeah, it does go on for a little while, and you have pretty much delayed her a bit on tracking you down because she's impressed of how you covered your tracks. However, she has picked up on like familiar scents and pretty much a few trails you may have missed here and there, I guess.
It's about a half moon, and there are only a couple of clouds in the sky, so you can see as the moonlight is reflecting off the snow, and so it does. So after about 10 minutes, we'll say Kunara catches up to Rosa, sort of getting a wide view of the Torla forests off to the east.
God, I wish it was an opposed nature check. I would have won. Oh.
Well, it looks as if you tried to make me lose your trail.
And you kept following it. Bloody bloodhounds.
Look. I know you're upset, but you wandering off ain't gonna make it better.
I just need some air.
I can tell.
I mean,
But it's my job to make sure that you're all safe. So forgive me for being an overprotective fool as I can be.
overprotective. Kunara, from what I've seen today, you are nowhere near the moniker of overprotective, not anymore. She's just gonna bury her head in the sand and wait for whatever is afflicting Aeon to take him, because she's scared for herself. Not for him, but because of how it would hurt her if something were wrong with him.
I understand you're upset, but listen. That's one thing I will assure you. I will not let this tear us all apart.
I thought I'd finally found family I'd wanted since I was a little girl. And she comes strutting into my life. Tales of wild adventure and mischief. Sandra Shattergrasp. I follow her into the wilds, get my throat cut for the effort, and there she goes making promises that I believe with all my heart. She's everything I had imagined them to be. What a load of shit.
Unfortunately, that's part of reality. You may meet those that may not be how you imagine them, or what they appear to be on the outside.
The worst part is, I know she can be that person, but I don't know what it is about her that she's just choosing not to. And I can't even figure myself out how am I supposed to figure her. I mean,
It is a very complicated matter that will take time,
she allows
especially
it.
getting some sense in her head.
Wow.
I would know one thing. Her outburst, if she ever did that in my clan, that is an immediate default of leadership.
She was going.
But I am not Eclipser, and I will not show any harshness. I see that Cassandra is hurting and also fully overprotective of Aeon safety. and blinded to not realize the dangers. I know I didn't see what you've seen, but the time Aeon's magic was used on me, it felt unnatural. Something not right about it. I'm not an expert on magic, but I've been around a few shamans to know that magic that makes my hair stand on end and pretty much that feeling of dread, that is my instincts telling me there's something not right. And there's one thing that hasn't been wrong to me is my own instincts.
And she needs to realize that before he gets hurt. In a way that she can't take back. And then she really will hurt.
Indeed. But I fear that it's not going to be easy to make her realize that. And neither is it healthy to try to make her.
I don't think I'm the one who can convince her of that. Thought I was. Like many things, I don't know anything. Please go back to camp and check on Aeon for a while. I'll be back eventually. I just need to think.
Very well. But before she does, she takes off her cloak and puts it on you. Like on you, resting on your shoulders. Don't stay away for too long. And I want to do my damnedest to try to talk some sense into Cassandra. However, I fear there's even little I could do to convince her. After all, I mean what I said. I too have made mistakes to those I care about most. Not just to Haven, but also my own flesh and blood. My sister, my mother, perhaps even my father.
Kunara. How do you be strong when faced with any of this?
Well, I would say try and look on the brighter side of things, but that doesn't always work out well. It takes more of inner will, patience, and controlling your own emotions and not let them make the situation worse. And trust me, I have failed that many times. But there are moments now, whether it be huge responsibility or what my mother has said in the past, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, you could learn from either your elders or your books, but the thing is, you have to find a way to cope. You have to make that inner strength happen. And only then, that strength will aid you in your time of need.
She grows silent and just sits down, wrapping her arms around her legs, and just stares off into the night sky.
But I'm sure one day, whatever happens, I'm sure you will figure out who you want to be. And I will be there and proud to see the real you. She pats you on the back and goes off to find Aeon.
All right. And with that, let's go ahead and cut over to Cassandra again.
Yeah.
I would like Cassandra to make a stealth check and then make a 3d6 awareness check for Tiamat.
She's not trying to be stealthy.
Mm.
She's crying.
Mm.
She found a boulder, put the camp between her and the boulder, and she is crying.
After a few minutes, you hear the telltale flapping of wings and then a gentle touchdown not far away.
Is it just here, or is Aeon with him?
Looks like it's just here.
She stops crying at the touchdown, and then just has her head, like, just in between just on her arms, just hiding her face.
You hear the slight crunching of snow as Tiamat draws a little closer.
You didn't say anything.
I was wanting to see if you had anything to say for yourself first.
What am I supposed to say?
I'm sorry would be a good start, I think.
I'm sorry.
Good. And make sure you tell Rosa that next time you see her.
From what she said, I doubt she even wants to see me.
In her defense, you kinda deserved what she said.
I know.
Then why did you?
I don't know.
That's not an answer.
What else do you want from me, Tyr? I just wanted her to drop it.
What are you afraid of, really?
I'm a shadow crest. I'm not supposed to be scared of anything.
when Neothil's soul was being torn apart by Emma, do you think Grandpa Thanatos wasn't scared for his friend?
I'm not, Grandpa.
No, you're not.
But as I like to think, I wear his cloak, I have his... what was his scythe? I have his name, I try so hard to be cool like him. I'm not as strong as him, though.
No one said you
Us.
needed to be.
I do. I need to be strong. Like him, Grandma Kyra. Like Dad.
I think maybe the mistake you're making is you're tricking yourself into thinking that they carried those burdens inside on their own. Chronicles of Eno, Chapter 4. When all of that was happening in Kurzatan, Thanatos Shadowgrass bottled up too many emotions and let his anger and frustration at Chakal and everything there boil over. It blinded him, his dark side almost took control, and people got hurt, and it could have been a lot worse. If he hadn't opened up to and trusted the people he was traveling with. He never would have gotten mastery of his dark side if it wasn't for them. Remember? I know you've read the book. You don't have to be Thanatos. Anyone who expects that of you is an idiot. But there are still lessons to learn from him. And you're making the misconception that strength is about carrying a bunch of shit on your own. That's not strength, that's stubbornness.
Can't stand Aeon being sad.
Neither can I. He's my brother too.
Don't. Whether the shadow is real or not, I don't want to lose him. Don't.
You smother him too much in over-defensiveness, and you will lose him.
And if I don't protect him, then
Then start protecting him and stop smothering him.
I need to be there. I need to keep him close. If I let him stray, then he'll end up like can't lose another one, dear.
Then help him.
Tiamat kind of steps forward and props himself up so that his paws are sort of propping him up on your knees and looks directly into your face.
When we left home, when we set out from Mom's place back in Viala and we started doing all of this, you promised to look after us, both of us. And I am begging you to keep that promise.
And,
If it's nothing, it's nothing.
and if it's something,
Then we
that we
can
don't wanna
deal
hear.
with it.
like we've been dealing with everything until now.
If it is something and we let it sit, how much worse is it gonna get? How much farther is that mold gonna grow before it starts choking us? Either it's an old black crumb in the corner that won't do anything except be a small blight, or it's a dangerous growth that needs to be taken care of. If we sit on it too long, we're all gonna get sick and pay for it. If you won't help Aeon, I will.
Just don't want him hurt.
You didn't see his face after you left. You don't get to talk about not wanting to hurt him. Maybe you'd never hurt him. But the way things are going, you're definitely letting him get hurt.
And then Tyr will kind of hop down and walk around the boulder past you back towards camp.
When he's out of earshot, she just mutters to herself. Seems all I do is get...
Say that one more time, please. You got cut off.
So she just mutters to herself. And then sorry. Seems all I do is get people hurt.
My little pony. My little pony.
Really? Really?
Just cue happy theme song.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Now,
I just-
having a freaking. I was in the conversation, just crying, and the next thing you know, I hear that.
You just break the.
I feel like something had to break that tension. You could feel the
It's
cord.
like a knife. It's like a knife. Tom just took a knife. It's like, hey, what's going on?
shank!
Was
I was about to start talking too, and then I just hear that.
Yeah.
Here's Tom.
Yep. What's that you got there, Rosa?
Why do
A
I
knife.
get the
No.
No!
Not gonna lie, I would literally be on Mystic's freaking lap and just being crying.
Some brutal honesty from Tiermouth, though.
That's probably the most.
Mystic, I need hugs.
I can probably
We
say
all
that's
need
probably the-
hugs.
The emotional support Moogle needs an emotional support Moogle.
We will both be emotionally.
Like honestly, that's probably the first time in Tiermouth's life that he's actually like really gotten into Cassandra's face about something.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a
Cassandra
bit of
has,
it. That's a bit of his dragon pride slipping through me, thinks.
Mm.
He
Cassandra
recog-
has. This is the night of Cassandra making promises broken.
This is the night of
Yeah.
Cassandra making bad decisions.
I think this is actually also the first fight of the group. Like,
Oh, yeah.
somebody has to
Yeah.
fight, yeah.
This is explosive.
I'm not even
This
sure
is
if
probably-
Campaign 1 ever had any fights quite this intense.
Nah.
I mean, there was,
Nah.
Yeah, with me and
I mean, there was
Fireside.
Yeah.
there was the scene in Kurzatan where
But it wasn't
he
as
wanted-
bad.
Why is it always our characters?
This is no, that's a good thing. It shows how close you two are. In
That
the
you trust
technical
each other.
sense, it is true.
That you two like trust each other to actually tackle the subject matter.
Yeah. I was going to bring up the scene between Thanatos and Nee, but it's not extreme as that.
I
It
mean,
came close, though. It did come
I
close
mean,
when he was using,
there were-
like, manipulation on that one person, if I recall. Like,
I mean, there were darker ideas I had for that scene back with Thanatos and Nee. Just I never got around to it because you guys talked him down.
yeah. But obviously, when it comes to Cassandra, she's not easy to talk down.
At any rate.
Cassandra's got a lot of issues you guys don't know about yet.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and it's time to give the daily. We all need therapy line.
Yeah, you all need therapy. Speaking of therapy, Aeon, may I call you into the Hall of Whispers, please?
Oh,
Oh
no.
no.
Oh no. No, I am no.
Secrets.
Bugger.
This session has just been fresh and
So,
I.
shall we?
Okay.
So for you, most of the group seemingly just sort of scattered off and went in different directions. Tiermouth chased after Cassandra. Rosa walked off and Kenora was close at her heels. Fluffy, for a while, just sort of stood in place looking around, sort of uncomfortable, looking torn, but then ultimately elected to remain by the fire for the moment. And there's this long and awkward quiet that just sort of follows you as you're just sitting there staring into the fire. If there's anything happening around you, any conversations from Kayana or anything, or even if anyone's come back to the fire, you're not noticing it. You're just zoning out way too heavily. Mind alight, thoughts active. And then just somewhere in the back of your head, there's just this little tickling feeling. And then for a moment, you think you see something move out of the corner of your eye, and you turn to look, but there's nothing there. You don't seem to be doing okay.
Who said that?
I'm a friend. My name is Kaulu.
Kaulu? Where are you? I don't see you.
I'm not terribly far away, don't you worry. It looks like your little friends are arguing amongst themselves.
Yeah. Seems to be happening a lot lately.
And a lot of those arguments seem to be about you.
Is there something wrong with me?
No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with you. If I were to guess, I'd actually say you're rather special.
Really?
Well, of course. The markings. Look at them. Not just any Moogle has something like that. They light up when you use your magic. They must mean something special.
If that's true, then why is everyone arguing? Then it's about me.
Because people like to argue when they don't understand something. Very easily frightened creatures. Damn it, 1 second.
No worries.
Go away.
God damn, Grandma.
Are people like speculating in chat or something? No? Okay. I heard you typing. I thought there was like a chat
I'm
going
doing
on.
my notes.
Ah.
In my notes, that's all. Go ahead.
People like to argue about things they don't understand. And they weren't really including you in that conversation, were they? No, they were arguing on your behalf without even asking you.
They were.
Yes. That's not okay. You shouldn't be letting people make decisions for you, Aeon. It's not a healthy thing.
You're right. But I can make my own.
Yes, you can. You're grown up enough, certainly.
Yeah.
Again, you think you see something moving out of the corner of your eye?
Is that you that I see? Or am I just seeing things?
I think you're just seeing things. I'm not far, but you couldn't see me even if I was right in front of you. A few too many layers, I guess you could say. Like a window. Can talk through it, but it's colored. Can't see through it. A pity. I would love to see you face to face.
I would too. You seem nice, Koopa.
Oh, thank you. I do try.
Are you like an imaginary friend in a sense, Koopa?
You can think of me like that if you want. Though I must insist, shh. Let's keep this little chat our little secret, yes?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kalu.
You can just call me Lou if you like.
Okay. Thank you, Lou. I really appreciate you helping me and standing up for me, Koopa.
You're welcome.
Will I talk to you again?
Probably. Next time you need me.
Thanks.
Though, do me just a little favor, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
Next time you're asleep, if you happen to dream about a large blue window, maybe scratch at it a little bit for me, would you please?
Scratch at it, Koopa. How do I do that if I'm asleep?
It's in a dream, silly. I'm sure you can think of something. You have such an active imagination.
Sure. I can try.
Thank you. That's the window I was talking about, keeping us from meeting. Break it down for me, and maybe I can help you. Help you prove to your overprotective big sister and everyone else that they don't need to coddle you, that you're worthy of their respect.
Respect.
They love you, certainly, but I'm not sure they really respect you. They're not
They
really
don't?
respecting your autonomy.
Even Sandra?
Maybe not in the right ways. Sandra certainly loves you, absolutely. She wouldn't adore you so much if she didn't. But she's letting that love turn into something ugly.
I don't want to hurt Sandra, so if this will help, then sure. I'll do my best, Lou.
That's all I can ask of you, Aeon.
So, when I see a window, I scratch at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that can't
Leave a
be
little
good.
mark, bit by bit, and we'll wear it down together, your side and mine. Then we can meet, prove that your friends should respect you, and have all the fun in the world. You like games, right?
Yes, I do.
So do I! I have so many delightful games I would like to show you. But
Okay.
they'll have to wait for another time.
Okay. Every time I see a window, I scratch it.
Not every time you see a window. Just the blue one. The pretty blue one with the big bird on it.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, I think your friends are coming back. Remember, I'm a secret.
Secret. Got it. Bye, Lou.
Bye, Aeon. You feel a little tickle in the back of your head again, and your senses start to come more alive. And let's go ahead and return to the others.
Aye.
Hehehe.
What's the shadow thing?
Hey, you're not allowed to know. You weren't there.
You don't
Yeah.
know what it was.
Oh, you're right.
Tom's assuming.
You're right, Mystic. You sound sniffly.
Well, I got that whole emotional thing. I was with Ari. I was crying before.
Yeah, I shed a couple of tears myself.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of feels this session.
There's a lot of feels a lot of the
Not
time.
gonna lie, I can see like
Yeah, this is like-
under a blanket.
This is like a
Remember-
different, this is like a different flavor of like just feels.
Hey, remember the beginning of last session and the entire session before that, where it was pretty much just us being slightly unhinged and funny?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now
We want to go back to that.
Now everybody was
Hit the-
depressed,
look
there was
what you've
a
done
fight,
to
it got
us.
heated, and now there's
I mean,
more regret.
I think the difference is as well, though, if you think about it, we've been for like, what, a couple of years with campaign 1. A lot has changed over time, and we all gone through emotional moments in our life, so...
Pippin
I
has
guess-
no idea the full ramifications of his rejection. Jesus.
I don't even think it's
Yeah.
I don't even think it's just the whole thing with Kyanna. I think that was
Oh
more
yeah,
just,
but
like,
that's kind
down.
of what's led to all this. Though. I mean, we were kind of the group was very cheerful post job. Like, oh yeah, it's over, and then things
Yeah.
spiraled again. Worse.
Started off as a group of strangers who met, went on an assignment that didn't go well, but then we start to pick up the whips again and pretty much do a pretty good job. Then we had a downhill moment.
And now you've had this.
Yeah.
Speaking of this, where exactly are we now after that scene with Aeon that you did?
Yeah, because it's like up and down at this point.
Well, pretty much at this point, like Kunara was coming back to camp, right?
Looking for Aeon, yes.
Yeah. You come back to camp looking for Aeon, and you just see Aeon's sitting not far away from the camp necessarily. What's Ari doing? Or Kyanna doing?
Next to Fluffy, just like not just looking at
Yeah,
her.
what? Speaking of Fluffy,
Fluffy
How
had
exactly?
yeah. At this point, Fluffy is present at the camp, looking around, clearly distraught and upset, but not entirely sure what to do. And for the moment, has determined that there are sad people here. Stay with sad people here for the moment,
And a small sad person is snuggling up to Fluffy.
I guess.
Which Canal, when she gets there, notice that, yeah, there's what between them.
And also, she's just like looking at her book. It's just that she hasn't wrote on it for a very long time. You might have noticed, because normally she writes on her book, but now she's not.
It's at about this same time that Tiamat comes walking back into camp, looking decidedly, like, tired.
I'm deeply sorry you all had to hear that.
Tiamat kind of comes
Yeah.
wandering over to Aeon.
You doing okay, Aeon?
Did you find her, Kupo?
Yeah, I did.
Where is she?
She's currently crying behind a rock.
She's crying. I have to go to her.
All right, if that's what you want to do, I can show you where she is.
No, I'll find her. Thanks, dear.
Okay,
He just kind of floats away.
just be careful. It's dark out there.
I have my trusty stick. I'm fine. Kupo.
Okay.
Oof.
Wong, the light appears.
I feel I should at least escort her on. However, Cassandra would probably not be in the best of mood to talk to me either.
Probably not. Probably best to let the family go through the motions first. For what it's worth, though, she did say she's sorry. I'd rather she say that to Rosa herself, though. Where is Rosa, anyway?
She's needs a little bit of space herself. We had a talk, and she will join us back at the camp shortly.
All right.
Which, at least I left her cloak behind because it is a bit chilly out, so she shouldn't get cold at least.
Yeah, it's below freezing.
And Tiamat just kind of like walks into the fire and just kind of curls up in it.
Dragon, fireproof.
And like there's like a small waft of steam that kind of rises up from any snowflakes that had accumulated on him, evaporating. And you just hear him go,
That's better.
Yes. Because now Nars is pondering, looking at Tyr.
What?
Oh, don't mind me, I'm just thinking on, well, for your benefit, in case we don't have a fire blazing, perhaps get you something that will help you stay a bit warmer in these colder climates.
Yeah, I'm
This
all
fucking
right. I can breathe fire, don't forget. Worst comes to worst, I can just breathe on myself.
It works. Plus, even if we did put something on you, I think Aeon might find that a bit, well, hilarious.
Yeah, let him.
Could look a bit.
He needs some levity.
Yeah, I think we all do. As he gets comfortable by the fire. Well,
Before
I can.
before things went sour with you and your sister, did you ever have fights like this?
With Eclipsa?
Yeah. Like back before things got bad between you two. Or were they always bad?
Well, when we accepted our responsibility, due to my mother getting ill, we did have our differences and arguments now and then. However, reflecting back on those memories, I'm starting to realize that it feels like I wasn't really talking to the sister I once knew. It felt like I was talking to someone else.
So she
There has been-
changed.
Yes, but I don't know, it just seems unnatural. Like, different in a way. There's one memory in particular that's been playing around in my mind that I was such a careless fool not to pick up on. It was due to one of our, well, first hunt with me and Eclipsa was instructed by our father to bring in our first prey. It's shown that his teachings didn't go to waste. Admittedly, it didn't go all smooth. We were rough around the edges. But when we worked together, we took down our prey, and we shared a moment of joy and actually appreciate each other like true sisters. It was a powerful moment for us, including our father, who was happy to see her getting along. But, however, happy moments don't last forever. Before we could even prepare to take it back to the pack, my father picked up on something, and then we shortly did after. He ordered us to hide in the bushes. And while we waited for a while, a few humans strolled out where our prey was. They took a moment and saw our handiwork and decided that they weren't going to hang around for much longer, but humans out this far would usually mean we will probably have to pick up and move again. However, that's when I noticed a slow raising of a bow and arrow, and as I looked, it was my sister. Except, looking back on it, it's kind of not. For one thing, everything in her body language was odd, different. Her calm, passive nature replaced with full rage and bitterness. The eager just to strike out at the humans. I just didn't understand why. But then there's the detail I didn't notice at the time. That one little detail that I should have picked up on.
What was it?
She was holding her bow wrong. For you see, my dominant hand is right-handed. I mostly use it as you would. My sword, my bow, a lot. But my sister's left. She's always been left, except in that one moment, she was using it for her in her right. And that's not right at all. And she's never done that again. It was only that one moment when she was going to take the shot. But then my father stopped her in time.
Maybe she was just in an awkward position and couldn't draw it back her normal way?
I would have thought that, but then there was the aftermath. When my father prevented her to fire her arrow, and the humans were a distance away, before we could even head the way back, she started to question my father. even point out all the flaws and weaknesses that humans are inferior compared to us. Why should we live in fear, hide in the shadows and move on because they intrude upon our land? My father dismissed it and said enough. We are going back to camp and reporting it to the others. We will speak no more of this. And it ended on a sour note. Even when I tried to comfort my sister, she just smacked my hand out of the way and gave me the cold shoulder for the rest of the day. I just don't know what's wrong with her.
Sounds
It's
like
like she...
sounds like a lot of things, if you ask me.
It does. One moment she's her typical normal self, the next moment on a certain subject, or she just changes dramatically. And after what Haven has informed me of, talking to herself, even being this rash, I fear whatever plagues me may be plaguing her as well, but worse. Especially since it may have been lingering with her longer than I.
Maybe. Or maybe she was just never fully right in the head, and then whenever what's plaguing you started, she couldn't handle it as well as you are.
It tenses up at that, and
It sounds to me like she wasn't ever fully right in the head. If her first instinct on seeing humans is to try and shoot them, that's not good behavior, Kunara.
I don't think I know that. It's just... It could be a multitude of things. I can't really pinpoint down what it could be. I know she's been into more of my great-grandfather Xiaogo Fangblade, but there's many tales about him that not even I know what is true about Xiaogo and what is not. But the only thing I do know from some of the elders who seem to speak the most truth, there are those who believe in him, but those who see him as a lesson to learn from. After all, he was once a mighty warrior, even a leader, but he also the one who brought shame and disgrace upon the Fangblade family name and became a monster because his emotions got the best of him.
Well,
Even divided the pack now and then in the past. Which young me wondered if there were ever others out there, but believing more of a faith of Xiaogo's mate instead of Xiaogo himself. But if not, then that would mean me and Eclipser could be the last of the Fangblades, at least the true-blooded Fangblades.
well. That's a lot of story that I don't necessarily understand, but
I know, I don't expect you to, but...
I have
Just
noticed
been-
you kind of get lost in your head a little bit when you start talking about it sometimes.
I do.
You kind of info dumped on Rosa too at one point.
I know. Which I am sorry for my ramblings. It's just... I just want to get this all sorted out. I just want things to be what they used to be. Even though not everyone liked Eclipser. Or because she doesn't share the same color fur as my main family.
Well,
After all,
I don't
she's
think at this
all-
I don't think things can go back to the way they were. Not for you, and after everything that's happened, not for anyone here. And definitely not for Cassandra, Aeon, and I. We don't get that luxury.
I know that far too well. But there's one thing I know, that I would never, ever want to cross that line. I wish not just for the sake of my oath that I made to my own mother, but I will not strike down Eclipsa. Whether she would do it to me or not, it matters not. I will not follow through with it. After all, she's still family, despite our differences.
Well,
Which is why I wish not to give up on the new one I've made. I know we have...
beat me to it by a second. Yeah.
And besides, I know we had a bit of a nasty squabble, but we wouldn't be family if we don't have family squabbles now and then.
Yeah, tell me about it. If anyone here knows about family squabbles, it's me. Ever tell you about the time Aeon tried to feed me to a pig?
I don't believe you have, and...
Well, then let's fix that. And Tiamat kind of sits up in the fire so that is like lit from below, flares out his wings a bit as if he's trying to be all epic, and launches into a cute little story that we'll cut away from. And cut over to Aeon going after Cassandra. So, from Cassandra's point of view, you're sitting alone for a while, and then you start to notice the glow, familiar glow from Aeon's wand starting to creep up on your hiding spot. Or, well, crying spot, I suppose, as the case may be.
Like
Sandra.
she's like the tears are flowing, but she's not sobbing. And she just kind of looks in the direction where Aeon's coming from. I guess he pops around the boulder.
I suppose so.
Sandra, there you are, Kupo.
Hi,
Kier said you were crying. I wanted to check on you.
here I am.
He kind of just like sits like on her knees and just looking at her.
Do you want to talk about whatever's bothering you? I know a lot was said back there, but I want to hear your side.
This is what I always do. Mess everything up.
You don't mess everything up, Sandra.
You've known me long enough, Aeon.
I do. Remember, I always mess everything up, Kupo. The amount of times we get run out of the towns, half of it's my fault, Kupo, not yours.
You didn't get us kicked out of every town.
Almost everyone.
Not the main one, though.
That still wasn't your fault, Sandra.
According to everybody there, it was.
They don't know anything. They weren't there, Kupo. And they're just assuming.
Can't do this, Aeon.
Can't do what?
Be a leader. I'm not.
You don't have to be a leader, Sandra.
Every single one of them back there expects me to always know where to go, always know what to do. Rosa, the moment I said my name, she thought I was a hero. But just everything that she wanted me to be. Kai and Kunara followed us. Kunara put so much faith in me, and now look, like less than a week, and I've ruined it.
Sandra. When I do something wrong, you say it's a mistake, right?
Yeah.
And what do you tell me when I make a mistake? Do I learn from it, or do I just push myself down about it?
Learn from it.
Mm-hmm. And when I learn from it, what happens?
It gets better.
Mm-hmm. Sandra, as much as I see you as the perfect hero leader, Kupo, you still have a lot to learn just like me. Rosa has a lot to learn. Kunara has a lot to learn, Kupo. Kai even has a lot to learn, Kupo. We learn as we go, Kupo.
How much of the yelling did you hear?
When I first heard you yell, I knew something was wrong, and I think that's when everyone came, Kupo. I never actually thought I'd see you or Rosa fight out of anyone. Honestly, I thought you'd fight Kuna first.
Didn't want to.
But
In-
Sandra,
I didn't want to hurt her like that.
it was an accident, Sandra.
It wasn't an accident.
Did you do it on purpose?
I don't know. I just wanted her to stop.
Aeon kind of just wiggles in between where Sandra's hands are and hugs her chest.
Sandra, take a deep breath. And another. We know that you didn't mean to hurt Rosa. We know that things like this get tough, Kupo. But isn't that what family's for? I mean, you and I have had our fair share of fights, Kupo, right?
But I've never hurt you.
No.
You know that's the last thing I'd ever want to do, right?
I know that, Kupo. I don't want to hurt you either, Sandra.
You could never hurt anyone.
I don't know. A lot of those villagers in those other towns say so.
They kind of deserved it. Stupid cornfields.
Ugh. It's a menace to that thing. Shouldn't even exist, Kupo.
She just kind of gets somber again. Do you want to know why I was yelling?
I think I can take a pretty good guess. Is it about me?
She wanted you to get looked at because of the shadow thing she saw. Told her to drop it. I told her to leave it alone. There's nothing wrong with you.
What made you more mad about that, though, Kupo?
She kept trying to insist that I didn't care, or that I was... It sounded like I was neglecting you. I care about what happens to you. All the times I've cared for you when you were sick or hurt. I don't want this shadow thing to be real.
Well, it's not, Kupo. I'm fine, Sandra. Sandra, you care for me like Sandra wants to care for me. If I was in Rosa's care, Rosa would care for me in her way. Rosa would probably be taking me to a doctor every second, Kupo.
And if Rosa's way was to let Panara examine you, would you be okay with it?
Probably not, Kupo, considering if I was under her care, I'd be to so many doctors.
Do you think it would be a bad idea to just let Panara just examine you and then let everybody know that nothing's wrong?
What do you think, Sandra?
I think maybe Rosa was right. If it is something, I want to fix it right away before it hurts you. I can't let you get hurt. She hugs him like really tight. Can't lose you too.
Aeon thinks for a second before responding. He hugs her back.
But how can I be in danger when you protect me, Kupo? You fix everything.
And I'll never let anything hurt you.
So we don't have to go to the doctor, Kupo. I mean, Sandra, there's doctors all over the place. Plus, Rosa's here to heal, so if I do get hurt, I can ask her to heal me. I'm still the same, aren't I, Kupo?
You could never change.
You're
You're still that same adorable Moogle I found in that day at the beach.
So maybe let's talk to Rosa and we'll keep an eye on me. If something happens again, which what could happen when I have the best big sister in the world, then I'll go. But I feel fine. I don't need to go to the doctor, Sandra. If
What
you-
if Rosa? What if Rosa doesn't want it?
Then she doesn't get her emotional support, Moogle. Or, if you're that worried, I'll try talking to her, okay, Koopa? Or, we'll talk to her together.
I'd like that.
Then there we go. But you do need to apologize.
I know.
You care about me, and you care about Rosa. That's why you are the way you are, Sandra. You don't want to lose anyone.
I don't.
And if they knew why, I think they'd understand, Coco.
She winces and just tears.
And kind of puts his little hand, wipes away the tear.
But when you're ready to talk about it with them, Coco, but you'll always know you'll have me to help you through this.
Mm-hmm.
Forever and always, Sandra.
Just puts a hand to the star tattoo. Forever and always.
Mm-hmm.
Just takes a minute to calm herself and then gets up while holding Aeon. Just let's go back to camp. It's cold.
Mm-hmm. I think we all need a good night's sleep.
And she starts walking back towards camp.
All right. Yeah, and award yourself a destiny point if you'd be so kind.
Oh, yay!
Destiny! Because for best emotional support move.
Yep.
Best emotional support, Moogle. Just general good performance, good roleplay, some other stuff. It was great.
Again, Kai's the therapist, and then she hands over a Moogle. That's the therapy.
And I
Sometimes the therapist needs
suppose-
the emotional support Moogle.
And I suppose Cassandra makes it back to camp. Is Rosa still going?
Yep.
I mean, probably at this point, Tears finished his story.
Yeah, like as you're coming back, Tears like sort of flying above the fire, sort of doing little swirls and loops and little flips and stuff, clearly trying to lighten the mood. And it's just as you're getting back into earshot that you hear him declaring,
And that's how Aeon tried to feed me to a pig. In short, there is a lot of bacon that for the next week.
You still won't let that go.
No, I won't.
and then Tiamat kind of turns and grins at you.
Hey, you harassed me and bullied me basically for years. Give me this, all right?
Be glad it's the pig.
Which, yeah, is at this point that I was actually laughing after hearing that story.
Laughing?
Yep, pretty loudly. She could not hold back her laughter no more.
Wolf Mama, the stern, stoic Wolf Mama, is laughing.
Yep.
Tyr's
Wait.
just a good boy.
Which like, yeah, I guess. I know everyone else thought that. That's back to the campsite.
And, like, Cassandra just pipes in and is like, that was some good bacon.
Goodness me, out of all the stories I've heard, none of them has made me laugh like that for a good long while. Actually made me feel exhausted.
Cassandra looks around and doesn't see Rosa. Is like, has Rosa not come back yet?
She looked around.
No, she hasn't.
Do you know which way she went?
Tiamat kind
Well,
of
Kana-
points his nose
points-
towards where the prints that Kanara made coming back in are.
Yeah, Kanara's pointed as well.
Probably follow those tracks and get to her. Kanara did find her, so.
Still holding Aeon, Cassandra just starts walking.
Do you want anyone to come with you?
She stops and just kind of turns her head. I appreciate it, Tyr, but I think this. I just need to do this.
Alright.
You've all been through enough tonight. And she just starts walking.
I would come along, but I think I stay at the camp and make sure everyone else is safe.
We need to keep at least a couple people here to keep watch and make sure
Yeah.
Fluffy doesn't run off.
Yep. And Kanara stands up and starts to patrol the perimeter.
Alright. Then let's cut back to Rosa. What have you been doing in the meantime while all that's been happening?
Give me a second.
Oh, you what?
Tom's still coming down from the emotional high that it's been going on today.
There's something like this is all more or less in real time, so like all of this drama has happened over the course of like 2 in-universe hours. The moon has visibly moved. Oh, you're typing a thing to me.
Oh.
Tom is typing. That is not good.
Secrets.
The cat elf is keeping secrets.
Okay, good to see you. Farewell forever. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that?
I know what you did.
Alright. So, Cassandra, as you follow Kanara's tracks, after a short time, you eventually come to a small little hill overlooking a vast expanse of landscape illuminated by the moonlight overhead, the snow reflecting it back, the cool wind and snow flurries sort of creating this haunting ambience in your ears that if you're in the Roll20 room, you should absolutely be hearing. Or watch together, rather. I've been making very liberal use of that room today.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Just some natural ambience goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
It does.
But anyways, but when you get to that point and you see where the tracks sort of end and you look down, you see Kunara's cloak sort of folded up on the ground, but you don't see any immediate sign of Rosa.
Kind of picks up the cloak.
faint traces of warmth left in it.
She hasn't been gone long. Kind of gives the cloak to Aeon. Put this somewhere safe.
Okay, puts it in the floof.
Gunnar's cloak is now safely tucked away in the fluffy pocket dimension.
Can I roll to see if I can find her trail?
I
for
want to look too.
For tracking her, both of you roll nature checks.
Do I have nature in Aeon? I don't know.
I
do! I'm surprised I put nature for Aeon.
I has nature too. I have 4.
Well, it makes sense for you.
I'm not that I'm 12. Lots of 12s today.
Lots of 12s, but also not a lot of rolls. It skips the combat encounter I had lined up entirely, so...
Again.
No zombies.
Alright, so, Cassandra, as you're looking around, you do eventually spot a single trail sort of heading out further. It's not that hard, it's pretty visible in the deep snow. The trail heads out a little ways, towards a small cluster of trees, a little ways down the hill towards the east.
Do I see a cat elf?
While you can see fairly well thanks to the moonlight reflecting off the snow, you can't quite see good enough to tell if Rosa's down there from this distance. Not in this light.
But the trail leads down there, right?
Yeah.
I can use my poof stick and we can follow the trail.
Yeah.
Poof!
The light emits.
And Cassandra is now running.
Alright. Running your way down through the snow, Aeon flying above it to keep pace, snow crunching heavily under your armored footfalls. You follow the trail heading down. It takes you about 5 minutes going at your brisk running pace, before eventually you start to come upon the cluster of trees. And as you are approaching, you find that there's as you're sort of following the trail, you come around the bend a little bit, and you see there's one tree just a little bit further away from the others. And the trail ends not far away, where you see Rosa, standing tall, bow and arrow in hand, an arrow drawn back, pointed at the tree, where you can see several arrows plunked into its side.
She takes a deep breath and she starts walking over to her.
Alright. And Rosa, you hear the footfalls pretty clearly.
Funk, another hour.
And makes it. And stays about a good 5 feet away from her. Maybe 5 or 10 feet away.
Continues to shoot.
Rosa? Nothing?
Just hear the thunk of another arrow.
She kind of looks at the tree and just, like, I guess looking at her pattern. There's her aim. I'm guessing her aim has been pretty good.
It's pretty alright. You're not necessarily seeing any instances of, like, one arrow splitting another down the shaft, but it's pretty solid.
She kind of smiles a little bit. You getting better with that thing?
Yeah, well, I started to walk home, realized I didn't know where the fuck I was, and that Fluffy was back in camp. So I found a tree and started practicing, because what else was I gonna do?
She kind of just looks down. Do you want to go home?
Yes. No. All the above. She fires another arrow. Changes minute by minute.
I don't.
Well,
I am sorry, Rosa.
she stops firing at that. Really?
Yeah. And I know, sorry, probably doesn't cut.
Wasn't trying to demean you or imply you didn't care or whatever pride blow you took it as. I just wanted Aeon to be safe and well.
I know.
Starts firing at the tree again.
And you were right. I was hiding from it, not wanting it to be true. And I took it out on you. I never wanted. Didn't want to hurt you, Rosa.
Well, I didn't want to kill someone, but here we go. I didn't want to have my throat cut open. I didn't want to go through one drama conga line after the next. I just wanted to come out here, see what the world has to offer with my friends and family, whom had made some very definitive promises that were quite so promptly broken.
What promises did Sandra break?
Do you remember, Aeon, when we were in Marasu after my neck? Remember what Cassandra said?
It's been a bit, Rosa. I vividly remember.
Little naive kitten I was, she promised that she would watch out for me, you know? Ensure nothing would hurt. I mean, things have hurt since then, but I never held that against her. I mean, she tried.
Nothing hurts quite as much as your hero got to punch you in the face.
Nothing hurts quite as much as your hero implying that you don't know what it's like to hurt, that everything you've gone through for the last month and a half is completely invalid and means nothing. Funk. Another arrow.
It was wrong of me to say all those things. You've gone through so much in so little time, Rosa. I'm so sorry.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry too. Sorry that I thrust you in that position of sisterhood. So full of zeal and eagerness and all that good stuff. I never asked whether you wanted to be, and it never really even occurred to me. I shouldn't have done so. And
You know, I remember. I remember the Rosa that eyes lit up like diamonds when I just mentioned the name Shadowgrass. You were so excited to meet me, or at least somebody from the Warriors of Light.
wasn't excited to meet a warrior of light. I was excited to meet my family. You know, one thing I dreamed so long.
Family means everything. I know that. I was an only child for a long time. Mom and Dad tried, but I was me. I got into trouble. I didn't really get along with a lot of the other kids. And having the name Shadowgrass kind of puts expectations on your shoulders. Just when you saw me, thought the world of me, I didn't know what to think. You started calling me sister. I admit I was taken aback. If I'm being honest, I felt that warmth in my chest. Part of me always wanted a sister. Aeon came into my life at 10. Tears only been around for a couple of years. Yeah, one random trip to Marasu, of all places, I find a little sister. Even if you don't see me as that anymore, I still see it. Nothing, no amount of sorries or excuses make up for what I almost did to you. I'm sorry I wasn't what you expected. Or what you wanted.
I'm sorry I can't be that starry-eyed little sister you wanted anymore. Truth is, I think she died in with that mage. And I don't know who walked out the other end. I'm scared, Cassandra.
I am too.
We're all scared, Rosa. Every day.
What are you scared of, Rosa?
Losing a little I feel I have you, Banara, all of you. Mom, Dad. That this grand adventure just beat what life's left out of me.
Do you want to know what scares me, Rosa?
Sure.
Losing family. I'd do anything to have to feel it again. And she starts walking closer.
There's a tenses a little, but let's lose one final arrow before her arm shot to her side.
Cassandra walks up behind her and just puts her hands on her shoulders.
I don't know if things could be like they were, but I don't know who I'm going to be at the end of this, if I'll even like them, or you will, or... I don't know if I can so implicitly trust you as I did.
Then it's my job as a big sister to make it up to you and earn that back. If you'll let me.
Start by not pushing any of us away anymore.
Say that again?
Start by not pushing us away anymore.
She rests her forehead on the back of Rose's head. I'll try.
Then start there. She turns around and looks at Sandra and then Aeon. I'm not done with my concerns. I'll drop it for now, but really think on it. Consider it my professional doctor's opinion.
Rosa?
Aeon,
I appreciate you concerned about me, Kupo. But maybe next time it'd be better to talk to me about it instead of going to Sandra without me knowing.
so
I'm not a child, Rosa.
just feared how you'd react after the bathhouse.
But don't I have a right to know? You wouldn't like it if I kept secrets from you.
Kind of ruffles his palm. No, I suppose not.
talk to me like an adult. I'm a Moogle adult, Rosa, just like you're an adult too.
He starts ruffling her hair.
Okay. No. Away from the squish spot. That's cheating.
Cassandra pulls her close again. I know it's frustrating dealing with me pushing Will away. I'm not quite ready yet.
Alright.
Promise when I am, I will tell you. Can you accept that?
Okay. We'll take it a day at a time. Rebuild. Whatever. Maybe it's just better this way rather than pre-made expectations we work from scratch. Eyes open, just if we ever fight like this, we promise each other here and now that we won't walk away for good, because I don't think I'd survive being alone out here. And not just because of the beasties.
Cassandra just keeps an arm around her shoulder. Sisters are supposed to fight sometimes, right?
That's what families do.
Especially when they're being a big dumb jerk.
Yeah, I think I get that from Grandpa.
But at least Sandra didn't try to put shampoo in my fur.
I was trying to lighten the mood and it worked.
Still, little sisters don't pick on big brothers, and I'm your big brother.
You're younger than me.
But I'm still bigger, you're the youngest, you're new, so I'm bigger.
That's not how that works.
I can't hear you!
Yes, you can. Stop trying to
Poof,
catch him.
poof, poof, poof.
Blah, 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 blah. Just strobe
See all the
lighting.
little icons fly around them.
I'm literally dying in the corner.
I just stupid.
Come on, family. Let's head back to camp. It's cold.
Do you want Kunara's cloak again?
I'll be okay. I will collect my arrows though because yeah.
Dibs.
No, they're mine.
Whatever I get are mine.
I know where you keep them. I will get into that loop one day.
Good luck.
Okay, so after a brief scramble to go and collect arrows, soon enough you have most of Rosa's arrows back in their quiver. Maybe missed one or two. They're now in Aeon's poof.
Yay!
But with that, I assume you're making your way back to camp?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You make your way back to camp then, feeling a little lighter now that you've squared all of that away. And yeah, you eventually come back, and the second you do, like as you're approaching the camp, you can see Kunara's like in the middle of like talking to Tyr and Kai too, if Kai is listening. But you barely have a chance to recognize that anything is happening over there when then, as if on cue,
Oh no.
just kind of barrel rushes you, Rosa, sliding to a stop like a few inches away, and just like when you first left that abandoned keep, just starts snuffling you all over, nuzzling.
I'm breathing. I'm okay, girl. Mostly. Bear with me, okay? Now, give me that look. And I where your scritch spot is. Scritch spot.
And that's how me and my sister bested those bullies. Rosa, you're back. And I see Fluffy's already all of you.
Of course she is. She's best bird. That's the one constant in this dumb world. Best bird.
Strongest member of the party.
I'm Geisha Pickle. No. And another. There's I'm good you.
Now you feed her too many of those, and she might be getting a little pudgy.
Hey, she's putting a card all day. I think she'll be fine.
To be fair, I gave her a suitable amount earlier, so she'd be fine with a few more.
We spoil you.
We do.
Mm.
Alright, everybody, I think we've had enough excitement for one night.
Wait.
Hmm?
Aeon flies over to Kai.
Kai, you want to see a magic trick? You'll like it.
He just flies over to Kunara right above her head.
I'm gonna make Kunara disappear.
Takes out her cloak and just puts it over Kunara. Look! Kunara's gone!
Yeah, he's just looking a bit confused around. You can see her head just moving about in the cloak.
Where did she go? Nobody knows.
I take it this means that you guys have sorted things out a little bit?
It's a
Hard,
start.
hard to say. Yeah, it's a start. We'll work on it from the beginning this time.
Alright.
As Kanara pulls back the cloak. As
Can I
a
get
family
reaction out
should.
of Kai?
So what was Ari's reaction to the cloak? Or Kai's reaction, rather.
As I was saying before I got interrupted by God.
Sorry.
There was a slight smile on Kai's face.
Progress.
Yeah. As she pulls back her cloak into position. Like a family should sort out their problems.
Though, might I make an alternative suggestion to the examination thing, if you will allow it? If you don't want to commit to that, we could at least talk to Grandma Panara about it.
Oh.
No examination required, but she is some sort of multiple centuries old repertoire of magical knowledge. I'm quite qualified to tell me if I'm just hallucinating.
I think we should leave that choice to Aeon.
Which is why I'm asking all of you together so you can all hear it. Aeon.
I mean, I would like it to be addressed at least. I do have a few things to be addressed in myself once.
For the moment, I
Rosa
think we're leaving it to his choice, Aeon. I know it's strange and scary, but as an adult Moogle, choice is yours, and all I ask is to consider that sometimes ignorance is not bliss.
It's kind of funny coming from you, Rosa. You
I
came
know.
from a place outside. You didn't get to see the outside world, now you are. It's kind of weird
Which-
hearing you say that.
It's
mean,
Knarr's
exactly. I'm taking those steps to destroy my ignorance, and it has been destroyed with some kind of Magitech tactical warhead.
I will point out that Kanar is leaning over to you, Rosa, and examining you.
What are you doing?
Are you sure you're the same, Rosa? After all, you just said something I was going to say. Almost like a kindred spirit in a way.
No, I am not.
Perhaps not. But I have noticed one thing. And she scruffles your head. My little kitten's growing up.
She just rolls her eyes.
I feel fine, Rosa, and my magic's getting stronger. Maybe I'm learning some new spells.
Maybe the shadow is a good thing. I mean, maybe you have your own Caius. That'd be an interesting. A Dark Knight Moogle.
Oh no.
Yay, that sounds awesome! Sandra, would that make me closer to Grandpa Tampy?
I think that would make him roll over in his grave.
But I do that all the time to
Quite
him.
literally.
Do you think, Rosa, I could do that? I could advance from Time Mage to Dark Knight. Or maybe I could take up some other spells. Rosa, can you teach me archery? Or, and he flies over to Kanar. Kanar, could you teach me how to use a sword? Kayana, can you use a gun?
Just shoves a lollipop. He just grabs a lollipop and shoves it in his mouth.
And Kanar's just laughing at this.
My point being, Aeon.
Oh yeah, we're back to normal.
God.
Whether it's something bad or good, if it might be good, might be bad, either way, Panara might know some things, since she is magical. More than me. I have, like, basic knowledge.
But my teacher knows magic too.
So your teacher knows magic too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, don't start on him, Aeon.
What
But
do you
he
mean?
does! I wish I could talk to him. Maybe he knows. Maybe it's something with my time magic. I still never got to learn everything.
Someone from back in Garland?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's someone you could talk to in the future, but Panara is a bit closer.
But I want to see Erling again. He was really cool.
We'll add it to our to-do list.
Can we please not? Last time I talked to Earl, it gave me a migraine.
What do you mean?
I will never understand mages. I'm sorry. The whole magic thing is just weird.
Excuse me?
I was gonna
As
say.
if on cue, she like rises her hand. You just see like green energies just rolling around it.
I was gonna say, can I have Aeon do the same thing with Rosa? I'm like I was gonna say the same thing. Excuse me, I'm magic.
Yeah, sure. You two could say that just in sync.
I just.
She doesn't respect magics, Rosa.
Oh, she does. She is a simple plebeian with a spear.
Yeah.
Let me
I
guess.
wouldn't understand it.
Plebeian?
Let me guess. Flies through one ear and out the other.
I guess it just requires people of special caliber to understand it, right, Aeon?
Very, very, Rosa.
Indeed.
Just roll with it. You kind of deserve it.
Yeah,
You literally asked for it.
I did.
One thing that the sages I got to know have taught me: respect those with magic. Otherwise, they show you why magic is superior.
Exactly, and as if on cue, a small vine is going to trip Cassandra up.
Okay, just for gets and chiggles, opposed finesse, please.
Okay.
I wasn't even gonna make her do that, but okay.
I mean, if you're not resisting, then sure.
I think she's a little too, like...
I rolled a 14 anyway.
Well, I probably... Well, you know what? I'm just gonna...
Just go with it, sweetie.
Yep.
Well,
I knew it.
So
All right.
close.
2 below.
A vine pops up out of the ground and swings around, and Cassandra, you are flat out in the snow.
Class dismissed.
At least it's not mud.
Yeah, speaking of Aeon, she's going to crouch down, roll up a small little ball, go, do you remember this?
Crouch down a small little ball.
Up
Snowball.
snowball in her hand and
Oh, a
present it to Aeon.
snowball.
Hey, do you remember this?
Yes.
Poof in his face.
Did I throw it at Rosa? I can't remember.
Yes, you did. Rosa went and gave you one, you threw it in her face.
What was the reason again?
You were being Aeon.
You were being Aaron.
Oh, no, I remember. I got upset because it melted when I put it
Yeah.
in the poof, and then Rosa,
Rosa
came
and
back
gave
with
you
it.
one. And you threw it in her face.
Poof.
It's not the old one.
Poof. Ow.
Ugh, I see stars.
Ash the night sky, Aeon.
Ugh. Now I'm sad.
While Rose is in mid-laugh, Ganar throws one on the back of Rose's head.
Okay, everyone dies now.
Oh, is this just a snow fight starting?
I think
I
so.
can make a
I was
snowball
gonna-
fight.
Snowball fight.
Okay.
I know my mother told me 2 wrongs don't make a right. However, that felt right.
And Cassandra throws in the back of Kanara's head.
My turn. My
And
turn.
you're next.
At some point during the fight, let's say Cassandra throws one at Rosa, Rosa dodges and it hits Kayana.
Yes.
Kayana, you are in the
dog.
process of finally starting to doodle something, and then a snowball just beans you in the side of the head.
How's that a callback? But at least it ain't mud this time.
Can I eject the snow into the air and falls on everyone?
Oh, God.
Uh-oh. It's now it's like Alasaya with the sand.
You know what? That is a
Don't do
weird.
that.
That is a weird. I can let you try.
What's Kayana's reaction to get hit with a
I
snowball?
want to say I want to hear Kayana's reaction to the snowball.
Yeah, before that. Diana.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I literally kind of slammed her book.
Slams the book close.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Is she joining in on the snowball?
No, really?
You know, why can I imagine Kayana just drawing her gun, flipping open the barrel chamber, stuffing some snow into it, locking it close, and just pointing it at
Snowball.
someone and saying, "Run."
Oh yeah.
Snow pellets.
That's not at all how that works, so that's not going to happen. But it
Yeah.
is a great mental image.
Oh, God.
Yeah, only if possible, like they did in SpongeBob.
Okay, so now, Aeon ejects.
Okay, Aeon,
He's gonna like try.
finesse check, please.
Okay.
DC for this, because this is a very unusual application of intuitive magic. We'll set it to a DC of 12.
You need to be the 12, honey. Come on, Aeon. Come on, Aeon.
Come on, Aeon. Come on, Aeon.
Go on, Aeon.
Alright, finesse check, go. Oh, come on!
Just
Did I
got
get
it. Just got it. All right, so as the snowball fight is beginning to kick up in earnest, everyone yeeting these balls back and forth, and Fluffy just kind of taking a step back, Tiamat settling on her back.
I think I'm gonna sit this one out. I do not have the thumbs for this.
No, you don't. Grabs onto his tail and drags him back in.
And then in the middle of all of that, as Tiamat, I guess, is getting used like a whip.
No, that's not. I just pulled him back in so he can't escape from the snowball fight.
And then
I
Aeon
saw-
will find a spot above the fireplace in the center of the chaos, lift up the wand, give out the call, and to the rest of you, there's like several inches of snow that's been accumulating. It all just like for like a 60 feet radius around the camp, just foof. And there's this shadow that just kind of passes over the campsite as the moonlight gets obstructed by this floating island of snow. It kind of had to pass up through some of your trousers to ascend, so some of you now have snow in your unmentionables. So you're all kind of doing the dance of not delight as you're trying to get snow out of your pants, and you all look up as here comes the avalanche. And you hear Tiamat going,
This was a terrible idea!
and you're all buried under about 7 inches of snow.
I win!
And there's this big cloud of snow that gets kicked up. The fire gets wicked out by the blast of air and snow falling all over. There's this Russian sizzle of steam. Fluffy lets out a loud quay. There's several seconds that pass, and then Aeon poofs up. I win! And I think that's where we'll call this session. On a surprisingly wholesome note for what was otherwise what I feel like is a very important session in terms of like character progression.
I think
There it is.
the session's name should be something like Breaking Point.
Breaking Point. That's probably good.
Yep.
You know what it should be? You know what the title, the cover art should be?
Kanara, Rosa,
Good.
and Cassandra
Yes.
and Vines.
Cassandra and Vines, Kanara holding her from punching Rosa, and then Rosa, like, glaring at Cassandra.
I was figuring it might work better if it's just like the image of like Rosa drawing back an arrow towards the tree with Cassandra behind her, and they're both shrouded in shadow because it's late at night.
Or
So no one knows.
better.
So no one knows what the hell we're looking at.
No, even better. Rosa slapping Cassandra.
Oh,
I feel like that's a little too on the nose. That's kind of spoilery.
yeah.
I feel like the one I recommended makes it clear that something bad is going on, but it doesn't necessarily spoil the specifics.
Like just a shadow of Rosa shooting at a tree, and then Cassandra and Aeon like
they're all kind of shrouded in shadow because of the low light. It's like a sidelong view. I'll do up a write-up of what I have in mind later, but for now we need to close out. So, that was a lot. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this session of Final Fantasy These Bitches Need Therapy. We'll see you all next time. Until then, keep listening, people. Bye-bye. Jesus Christ.
Bye.
Like, that was definitely a breaking point, but there's also probably several layers of breakthroughs that happened there, too. Like, that was not pleasant, but that needed to happen.
Yeah.